We are Squawking Dead, a podcast pulverizing episodes beyond the Walking Dead universe. Sometimes we give you news, sometimes we make you laugh, but most times we go deep. And today I'm here with a very special guest. You may know him as Satro88 on Instagram. Used to be, at least. Michael Satrazemis, executive producer, director, shower, well, the man himself, the operator-in-chief, Michael Satrazemis. How are you today?
I'm doing really well. You know, I mean, I'm trying to process the end. I know we've spoken a little bit about it, but it was important to come here just to celebrate you. That was the sole intention here, was to celebrate the bond that we formed through your ability to dig deep into filmmaking and our attentions, and for me to resonate with how amazing it is to create and see that people, really see everything that you're creating and really feel it and see your intentions and so I wasn't going to, being the last, I was not going to miss this moment.
Well,
so I'm happy to be here.
What's great about what you just said right now is you said all of it before we even went live, and I was like, well, is he going to do this again? Because I don't really, that's kind of putting him out a little bit, but then he did do it again. And I'm like, now I'm even more nervous than before.
What if we just don't say anything and you play the first 15 minutes of our conversation back, and we just said, like, we could try to lip sync to it. Like, when I'm talking, I could try to remember what I'm saying and that
exactly
that I'm saying it again.
Well, I
being the world's worst actor.
Well, I definitely will be, because we spoke for quite a bit, about at least 10 minutes or something like that. So I will make this available in a shorter excerpt somewhere, probably tomorrow or the day after, just so everybody can bask in the glory that is you, and also praising us, which I don't hate at all. It's kind of nice.
I just think it's also important that you're thanked. You know, I mean, what I did say, for whoever's listening now that won't listen to the other 15 minutes, was that this doesn't go unnoticed. You know, when you're on a successful show, you try to ignore the highs and the lows, everything. You put your head down and you try to create, because it's a survival thing, and you have your own work ethic, so you have your own propel. But when your show's successful and you have this group of individuals that starts to really see what you're doing and starts to dig deep and see, they're grabbing at decisions that you made. Sometimes you made things on the fly, and you're like, this is going to go totally unnoticed. And a lot of the decisions we make, we feel as creators, we're doing it for ourselves. We have to, because we want to just keep adding more truth to the story. I mean, it's a lie that we try very hard to make 100% the truth till all the emotions are felt. Where I'm in charge of creating emotions. That's my job at the core element. And when you start seeing that there's this group of individuals that seems to be very intelligent and seeing things on a filmmaking level, and it matters, and it does. We do notice it. We have had conversations about it. I have tried to send love here and there wherever I can. But normally I'm just trying to survive through creating and leave everything out on the table. I didn't want to miss this chance just to celebrate you.
Which makes that your compliment that much more deeply felt, because, hey, you could be taking a couple shots, chase it with a couple of beers after this. You've done your job a year ago already, and I appreciate you coming out and even just taking time to, first of all, praise us. We should be praising you guys for really sticking it out 8 seasons. The odds between COVID, the reboot, years ago, you had so many challenges along the way. And like you said, you do your best to keep your head down, do the work. And especially you, Michael, who you basically asked for this. And they said, oh, you're asking for this? Okay, well, here's a whole series. Take it. It's yours. Which it kind of goes to the beginning of our conversation, which we'll replay at some point. But you had said basically something to the effect of, well, it's not easy to, well, okay, it's one thing to be in a collaborative environment. You're a camera operator, you directed some episodes, but it's kind of like, well, now I have to give up a lot of what I was doing to other people, and it's a collaborative effort. And it's kind of like, well, I don't know if I want to trust everybody with this beautiful baby that has a lot riding on it. But you guys kept going, you kept keeping your head down, you kept trusting the right people along the way, and it certainly paid off. In this challenging world, which is another thing you mentioned earlier, in this challenging world where television is evolving and audiences' attention spans are quite low. So we're here. We made it. We're past the finish line, and we're going to be feeling this for a while because my turn to praise you. This is the show that really brought all of us together. It's one thing to say The Walking Dead. Obviously, The Walking Dead. Those episodes have way more views and way more listens. However, the people that we really interact with, I'm dead serious. The people that we regularly bond with at conventions or people that we would consider family, and we do. They're it's the Fear the Walking Dead family, and we're not just talking about the cast. I'm talking about the fans too, but of course the cast too.
He's already crying.
Yeah.
But listen, I love that
shaking.
all of you. I always felt that you were separated, but then I saw that you're all choosing to hang out through your family, through your highs and lows of life.
Yeah.
When somebody's down, you're all there for each other. Like, I mean, again, like I said, we stalk you from afar. It's like I know a lot more about you guys and how you are. I mean, it's what the internet will let me know. But I mean, we don't not see it. You've been so beautiful, and caring to each other. It's it's just it means more. I don't give a shit about a compliment or a bag from an asshole. I just don't care. I mean, if you want to be one of those people that hide behind the internet and say shitty things or say really great things or feed me scripts and tell me how great of an actor you are. I mean, I've gotten it all. But you guys have created a family, based on through the show and some of our intentions. But you've also created like these beautiful friendships where you're so good to each other through the highs and the lows, And it's again,
even if we disagree,
I don't have
too.
a lot of time to dig around, but it's hard to not notice, And that's why I'm here now.
That means everything to me.
Try to
Personally.
make you cry.
It really does. Yeah. I mean,
Oh, he's one of us.
I'll be honest. Fear the Walking Dead literally changed my life, and I've said this before. Fear the Walking Dead changed my life. The first episode I ever watched was Laura, and it just hooked me. It was such a beautiful love story, and so beautifully shot and acted, and it just hooked me. And from that, just one episode, I have made this incredible family of friends. Like you said, we all help each other out. We're all there for each other. And that's not going to end just because the shows have ended. We're always going to be a family.
No, I'm looking for other stories. Fuck it. I'm going to make another story that you guys like.
Hey, we're not going to stop.
I already told you.
We're looking for excuses to stay together. That's the thing.
I got an idea. It's coming your way.
Okay, June.
But
John Dory has a twin named Dom Dory.
Yeah, anyway. It's Don Dory. It's Dom Dory.
We spoke. It's D-O-M. Dominic. Yes. Anyway, sorry.
No, he had a sister as Dawn Dory.
Oh, that's Dawn Dory. You're right. I thought that was her mother. His mother. Anyway, whatever. Yeah, that wasn't it. No.
Anyway, Mikey, thank you for being one of the instrumental people in bringing us all together.
This was a journey about trying to learn about myself and define who I was to myself. I'd been on the Walking Dead, and I started as a camera operator. I directed. I was the director of photography for more episodes of The Walking Dead than anybody, and then moved into directing. And when I knew that was going to be my full-time thing, I had said that that this was going to be it, that I was still happy to direct, but I didn't have a full-time job. I was going to leave, and that's when Scott Gimple had said like, hey, what about trying to move over to Fear and take on a larger role and try to reinvent something and recreate it. And I took the job to just learn about myself.
Reinventing yourself,
to
reinventing
try to define
Fear.
myself. And this has been such a beautiful experience because you know that you're going to lay yourself out. You're just going to jump off the cliff, and you may find out that you can't do it, and you may fail, and and you may find out you can't try to create a culture. And there's a lot of kind of bigger ideas that I wanted to bring there about what I thought filmmaking could be, as all of us together. And it was getting rid of egos and being selfless, and so there was a lot of experimentation in the experience. And at some point I was definitely free falling without a parachute, and it was a really beautiful experience. And Laura, I mean, that episode to me, I've always they always wanted me to do mid-season finales and the beginnings of these things, and I always wanted the bottles. So I wanted the small, they're not small episodes, but they're smaller character episodes. I just wanted these. I wanted the films. I wanted beginnings and endings and complete things we could shoot filmically and not have to trim time, and abbreviate everything and fuck up my my cutting pattern because I have an A and a B and a C and a little piece of a D story, and just some of those things. Like, it's not that I don't like the big ones. I love them, but it's the the Lauras, those bottles, those kind of things.
They're treats.
That's why I create. I create to create those sorts of stories, and that was, and I mean, that was pitched to me maybe the day after I came in for the meeting, and I thought they just wanted me to direct. I didn't think they wanted me to produce and direct. Like, I only found out in my meeting with Ian and Andrew, and Scott was meant to be there and didn't even show up, and he didn't actually tell me. So at some point they were talking to me about things, and I was like, wait a minute, guys, what is this job for? I'm like, yeah, I thought you guys just want me to start off the season. And they're like, what? No, you're gonna be you're gonna be the producer director. And I was like, oh, well, I wish somebody would have fucking told me, before I sat down. I would have thought of some cooler things to say other than, but I came in very truthfully, and just really tried to hire beautiful people that I wanted to create with, and elevate everything, and just learn about myself. And in the end, I got a family of people, and we lived through the highs and lows, and also just seeing how shows that go out, and you created your own family, and not that I feel responsible for that. You did that on your own, grabbing any show, but I am flattered that, that you bonded over our material and what we did. And then also just that, you are a really smart group of people that saw our intentions. You didn't run away. You didn't, no matter what, you never bailed out on us.
I'm going to tell you a story. I'm going to tell you a story. When we first started out, in season 8 of The Walking Dead. And now we're in season 8 of Fear the Walking Dead, which is this weird full circle, by the way. And part of it was we walked into season 4. I was with somebody completely different, a friend of mine, from way back. And we started this podcast together. And she saw Fear. She got really far in season 4. And she was like, I don't want to. And I was doing it by myself by the end episode. And it was this flashpoint. And I knew that something had to change. First of all, the format had to change a little bit from recapping everything to going into some of the more deeper themes, like you said. And so this is kind of like going to your first of all, your incredible compliment. But B, it also made it so that I could change the way we did things. I started having guest hosts on. That's how we got Rachel over there with the pink hair, this crazy one over here, Cosmom09. Yeah, and then we invited other podcasters, and I said, what? Why can't this be something where we each have a voice and we each have a stake and have a point of view, and maybe we can have this thing where we can talk about something and may not agree about it. And if you say you watch the episode, but most often we don't agree on much. We often land on feelings, but we don't often land on opinions. This is what I wanted to build. I wanted to build a space where we can talk about something, joke about something, but also land on, hey, I don't hate you because you like this and I don't like this or whatever it is. And it's usually me that likes this, so I'm playing myself right now. So because I always want to be. I want to be the guy that says this is. Well, think about it, because this is something you might like. I always try to, like you say, I always try to get the intentions of what was trying to be said, and then. But why it's so great that I have folks like Sharon D and Rachel and Bridget, with all their different personality quirks, and this is how we got here. We got here because I didn't give up, and B,
Yeah.
I found the people who didn't want to be argumentative or didn't want to give up on something when things got tough. And so I can credit you with that. And I'm very stubborn. I'm very stubborn. I don't give up on things
Yeah, so
very
much.
easily.
This is true.
I thought
very
you'd
true.
appreciate that
Yeah.
too. Yeah. Because you had to. You were dropped into the saddle and they said go, and you're like, "Oh, me? I'm doing basically most of this. All right, cool. Let's go." So but I'm glad you did. I'm glad you stuck it through. I'm glad you figured out even the visual voice of the show that changed over time, that mellowed over time or evolved over time. That was really cool to
Well,
watch.
it was all experimenting. I mean, like
Yeah.
literally that first season, when I went in season 4, they told me, well, they said you can't be you. Like, what do you mean by that? And they're like, you can't be the Walking Dead. You're the Walking Dead. That the way it's shot, the visual take, you've established all that, and you can't do you. You can't. And I was like, well, fucking, what do you mean I can't? I don't know. How am I gonna not do me?
Be a deeper you.
And yeah. So and I was like, what am I always upset about? Like, what part of filmmaking, should I use this as an experimentation to play around with? Because of, and I was thinking about composition. I mean, like it's not something that's taught anymore. Yeah, your cuts, composition and your edit they're best friends, and and that's how you tell the story. When you move in for a close up, when you actually move the camera, and push in, and when you do these things, because that's that is storytelling. Like what's more powerful? This extreme close up of Brad Pitt crying, talking about never doing this again. That he said he wasn't going to do it, he wasn't going to ever do it, or a shot of a vista. There's the lone tree, and 50 feet overhead and Brad Pitt's fucking naked at the bottom of the tree, trembling, and you can only hear him crying, and there's no dialogue and there's no story. Like, what's more powerful? And the answer is always going to be that image of the tree, because it's a lone giant empowering life, 300 years old, and you've shrunk this man to the size of nothing, and he's new. There's so many layers of why it's more powerful, and that is in composition. That is in why a painting, some of the greatest paintings, is one frame, and they will always be more powerful than anything we do. And we shoot 24 frames a second, and and we need to pay attention to that. So that's why you don't see the camera move in season 4, because I said we're not moving the camera, and we're going to start blocking the scenes to frames, and I'm going to force us all to care more and about the images, and to be very, 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 very specific about the cuts and where they're going, and moving the actors, from the wide shot into their own close up, and then they turn around, and then they're into the over, and we'll see, we'll see if I still have a job at the end of the season, but no matter what, I'm going to learn whether I can even do it. And that was one of the toughest things to do. So very tough to police at the very beginning. I don't need to get into that too much, but it's hard to, it's great to buy into that. The cameramen, 100%, Adam and Court were just bought in, amazing. Other guest directing, it's just tough, you know what I mean? And I had a lot of people that it changed a lot. It was really, it divided the room 100%, but we really tried to lock into it. And it was an exercise that I thought was really beautiful, and it's filmic, and what it does is it forces you to increase the scope, to shoot a little more cinematic. And then we evolved over the years, because even, as a creator, loving that, I got bored with it. I wanted to move the camera. So then we I made another rule in another season. Like, we can start pushing in, but we're only pushing in to increase. If that camera moves, it better be increasing the emotional value. You better be on the right line of dialogue, and you better be driving in on that. So you accentuate the end of that sentence, and you're driving it home. It's a forceful thing. If it doesn't increase the emotions, you're not allowed to do it. And then I was like, well, with act ins and act outs, and and then you kind of loosen it. But what I think it did was, it was an exercise in just revisiting cinema, and how important it is, and how important the technical aspects of things are, because they can all increase the emotions. It doesn't, listen, you have to have a great story, period. That's it. Great story wins. I've seen more horrible looking movies that were fucking amazing, and I've seen very few amazing looking movies with no story, because I don't watch them. So, but if you can get them both in line, you can really do something special. And, so those were the things. They let me play and let go, and I just wanted to keep testing a little bit.
No matter what I've thought of, I'm sorry. No matter what I've thought about other things on the show, sometimes I've always thought the cinematography was beautiful. I mean,
Yeah,
just gorgeous every time.
Well, that's it. It's a testament to the cameraman that I got to bring in, and we were very big in the collaboration of things, and we spoke, not in styles. Styles such bullshit, because I think a style is like, you tell the story. The story tells you how to shoot things, but it was a language, a filmic language, and I was lucky enough to a really amazing, talented cameraman to come in and bring their best, that we would support them, and we would invent language and talk about our language, and we would get to shoot our language. Television, you can talk a lot about things, and then when you start rolling, it's just like, fucking survive. I don't. There's too many places in the world that are at war, so I don't want to compare it to war anymore, because we don't die, but it's grueling, and it becomes this kind of every man for himself, and all those beautiful conversations and prep go away, and because it's survival. But you can build a place where everyone holds tight to that, and we don't let go of those, the beauty, and it's about prepping and trusting, and it's very important that everyone becomes of the same mind, and you work that very in advance, and then you can let everybody run and divide and conquer, because you're all operating from the same filmmaker brain. We all become one, superhuman filmmaker. We're all dysfunctional weirdos when we separate, but
you're like locked in formation.
Together, we can transform into a pretty good filmmaker. So.
We form Voltron, the filmmaker.
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
Yeah, except it was like the second generation, where it was like 100 different Voltron things. I don't know if you remember that. It was like Voltron in space. Anyway, whatever.
No, Dave.
We're all old enough, right? We're all old enough.
Nerd.
Yes. Yeah. Well.
There are some comments from the audience, but were you about to read that?
I was just gonna say, well, Thomas asked a really good question. So
Thomas
I'd
O'Mara.
like to go and read it.
Yes.
One.
Also,
it's
happy
his
birthday, Thomas.
So happy birthday, Thomas. He asked, with all the cast members that directed, how different was that to have to, I guess, like, kind of sort all of that out with everybody that was coming in and directing different episodes?
Or have we lost him?
Oh. Oh no!
I tried.
I did pause his uploads just now, just to see what happened. See, Thomas, you broke Michael.
Thomas broke him.
You broke Michael E. Satrazemis.
Jimmy Littlefield's here. Hey, Jimmy.
Hey, Jimmy Littlefield.
And Jason and Lois. Hi, everybody.
Jason Cohn, Mr. Background Actor.
Lois. Carranza's here. Hi, everybody.
Do you want to check Instagram to see if he's if he thinks that we're still recording?
I can't check anything.
You know what the worst part about it is that you had he might still he might be able to hear us, but we can't hear him or see that his face has changed from this face. So
I just have a black
and there
screen.
it is. You told me,
He's gone.
tell him to refresh. And just like a shooting star, Michael E. Satrazemis, executive producer, director, visual language storyteller, left the building. So this is why we were so late, folks. We had a conversation for a little while before we started the stream early so that we can get people through the door. And then once the clock hit, we went over time and we're like, well, should we stop the train after it's left the station? No.
There was no stopping Dave from just listening to Mikey
Compliments.
like just like this
Fine.
because
I wasn't
he was
gonna
just
stop him.
he was just stroking Dave's ego.
And I don't know what
Dave's just
face I'm
like-
making either. I'm doing this like every now and again. I'm like in my head, I'm doing this.
Surprise, y'all.
It doesn't look
I
like
told you-
that. but-
I told you wouldn't who you thought it would be.
It really wasn't.
No.
It really wasn't, but that was very cool. And what's even cooler is that Mikey was gonna be on the episode that I was supposed to be on of Talking Dead when I got bumped
Oh.
for Lauren and Jeffrey Dean.
Mm.
When I
Oh.
got bumped, remember I
So
was
that
gonna be
made
on
up
that
for
initial
it.
episode, so he was gonna be on it and for Tales. And then I got
Mm.
bumped. I got bumped. So
Oh, you know
So
what
that
we
made
did?
you're muted, Charity.
Oh, you know what we didn't mention,
Did he
Bridget?
do Blair and Gina?
Oh, I don't remember.
What's that? Yeah, he must have because it was Jillian Bell was one of the other guests as well.
Ooh.
It was Jillian Bell, Terry Crews,
Is Michael coming back, by the way?
and
or-
Mikey.
He says his internet went out.
Oh, okay.
Oh no.
That's okay. If he wants to come back, he can, by the way.
No.
Give me a second. I'll be right back.
Sure.
Okay.
But you know what we
What were
should
you gonna
say?
say, Dave?
I was going to say, do you remember how I feel like I'm patting myself on the back when I say this. I all of a sudden realized it. But remember how you said you didn't get the sweater and then you came to New York and I got you the Commonwealth sweater that Talking Dead was supposed to, but Squawking Dead is the best, pointing
Yes.
to self.
Yes.
I am Squawking Dead.
I thought about reaching out to Robert on and just being like,
But
hey dude, never got my sweatshirt. You want to talk to Chris for me?
He's a producer, assistant producer.
Well, has it been 6
Because-
months yet?
It's
Because
been
Robert had told me that Chris really was the one who liked digging in for the prizes.
Chris
He
Hardwick.
w- Yeah, that he's the one who likes to dig stuff out and be like, this is what I want to give this week.
Aw.
So I guess it was his responsibility. And it didn't
Oh no.
He's supposed to
didn't
pick it
happen.
out.
But all of my complaining on my YouTube channel about my missing patch in my supply drop box, one did get sent to my house. Now, it came from Colorado. So I was a little bit like, did this come from just somebody who watched this video and sent this to me? But also like, how did they get my address?
How did they get your address?
it
What's
was
the name
weird,
and their
but-
address? Just kidding.
Anyway, so I did get the patch. I did get the patch from the supply drop box, but never got the Talking Dead sweater. But it's almost like a funny story now. And Dave got me one, so
Yeah,
there we go.
I saw that.
Um,
I felt bad for you because it was like,
Well,
well,
thanks.
I mean, the guest spot
Being
alone was
on the
pretty
show-
great. Yeah,
Being on the show was really the
but I just
prize,
wanted to
right?
show you that I really, it's so cool that you got to be and be. Somebody said they were supposed to do something and then they didn't, and so I felt like I wanted to, I don't know, but like commemorate it.
It was such a weird situation because one, it was so touch and go because I was invited to be on, bumped, then didn't hear any other communication. And then finally just reached out like really close to the end and just barely just slid in to that final Talking Dead fan segment. Because there wasn't another one after me. That was it. So I got to do the last one, which
The
is cool.
last one.
But also that two of us got to do that on this podcast. Two of us got to do it, which is
And then another
beyond
friend
crazy.
too, because Brian did too. So we actually had 3 of our
Mhm.
family.
Brian,
yes,
Sarah,
yeah, Brian.
Tilted Tripod
and
got to do it too.
And Jamie Joe.
Jamie Joe, Jamie
Destiny
Hogan.
was on that last. When I say last fan segment, I mean I was the last person that got to ask a question.
Right,
There
right,
was
right,
a
right.
fan segment on the
Mhm.
very last episode, and it did have a ton of people in it. Brian was one of those people. Destiny was one of those people, like a bunch of people
I
we
think
knew
Jamie
were one
Hogan
of those
was
people,
also
which was
right.
Rachel
cool.
was one.
Yeah, which is great. It
Yeah.
was really, really special.
I
Mikey
was
said
not.
Mikey said he's not coming back. Just tell everybody his goodbyes. So, Mikey, thank you so much for coming. That was
Thank you.
amazing.
Seriously.
I
Yeah.
appreciate it so much.
And
And
I
I am
cannot
going to
wait.
send you that spin-off idea. I'm sending it to you.
And I cannot wait to show everybody what we talked about. Basically, Michael complimenting us profusely, which made me very uncomfortable.
It was nice.
But it was very. You have to
Even though
understand.
most of it was directed towards charity, right? Because like
In equal parts, Charity and me.
it was
Basically.
it was heavy Sharon.
I'm just riding
Well-
on your coattails here, guys. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Me
I'm
and
holding
Bridget-
on for
me and
dear
Bridget-
life.
You just show up.
Rachel's like, okay, let me smoke a doobie and not take notes before the episode, and we're ready. But that's what we don't pay you for. So that's your job.
Just
Like
holding on for dear
I'm
life
just
here.
like Michael said.
What do
there's
I
no
need to take notes for?
there's
I
no
have,
small
I have my
parts.
opinion. Yeah,
I'm
you do the deep stuff. I bring my opinion,
I make deep.
and then you tell me why it's
You
wrong.
make deep.
I make 7-layer
You
deep.
make deep.
And
I'm just,
Yeah.
I'm glad he came, but Mikey, I'm so glad you came, but I'm really glad you left before we started talking about the episode.
I wasn't sure how I was going to talk about this
you know, I
while
have to.
looking at Michael Satrazemis in the face.
This is like this is the Teo effect, right? I'm in full Teo effect right now because if you thought I liked this episode before, well, I can't hate it at all now.
I can still hate on it. It's still gonna happen. There's called honesty. Sorry, Mikey.
Well, with that
I
much less
wanna-
time too.
I wanted to say something
So,
before
I
we
guess it's a good
before we
thing.
roll in
Sure.
to stuff. I would just wanted to say something because the conversation with Mikey, you know, you guys are talking about how like fear is what really brought this podcast together and all
really
that kind of
was,
stuff.
though.
And what the weird thing is, guys, like that's when I came in. Was with fear. It's when Madison came back. That was the first time I recorded.
Oh,
with you guys.
the Better Call
I'm-
Saul and the
And I am the
before,
huge.
yeah, before that.
the No One's Gone live stream
Yes.
with
So
Brian.
that was when I first came in with you guys. Was Brian and I, because I had just become a Survivors 2 member, and you had no idea what unholy hell was about to be unleashed upon you.
We're like, saddle up, Bridget.
You had no idea that I was going to be like, I'm scheduling interviews and we're doing this and we're doing that. And you're like, okay.
This is how Bridget.
Bridget's like, here's how you organize people.
Yeah, this is behind Bridget's eyelids. She's a ball of. Oh, I'm a lot, and I'm like, no, you're not. You're just enough. Jeez, Louise, we need this.
It's just it's cool because I always connected more with Walking Dead. I love Fear, but Walking Dead's where my like comfort characters are, right? Those
Yeah.
are the people I like really connect with. So it's just cool to know that it did hook me into.
It's exactly
Fear did.
what I said.
Unintentionally.
It's this thing
Hooked
where,
me.
okay, obviously The Walking Dead, but Fear is where we have the conversations. And maybe it's because Fear is the place where we have to have the conversations.
It's because I care more about fear than I do about The Walking Dead.
I mean, on your part, yeah. But maybe I do too. Because you look at Fear and you're like, this needs more attention. What they're doing here is really, in my opinion, there's some really good things going on here, from visual storytelling to what Mikey was saying about static camera shots. And, well, let's focus on, and let's have people move within that space rather than follow that space or push in.
Man.
So
I really want us to get Mikey on here for an actual interview because I want to ask him so much about how they do stuff.
we will.
Like we couldn't really
should.
do that here, but I mean I really want to talk about how they do stuff behind the scenes.
Yeah, no, and this is a long time coming. I should have had him on after season 4 into season 5. That would have been a perfect time to really get him on because he was getting to the swing of it. He was getting to lockstep with his visual voice, like I was saying earlier. And so, and he and I have interacted back and forth for so many years at this point. It feels like basically since the start of the podcast. So we definitely will. Now that Fear is over, we have
Hi,
to kind of send
everybody.
a hi. Yeah, Josh
I don't know if
Pineda, first of all. Hi,
I don't
Caleb
know if I
Mullins.
responded. if they can even see me. So I'm saying it out loud. Hi, everybody on Facebook. Lois and Josh and Jimmy and Kaylin. Hi, everybody.
Oh man, I was gonna make a joke, but I don't want to make them feel uncomfortable. Kaylin and
All right,
Josh.
Dave. Make with the first impressions, because I can't wait to see what I said at 5:00 in the morning.
Okay, folks. So we did a thing.
Oh God, we have to do that.
So it's a good thing that we did this in advance. What we had done
This is so embarrassing.
is that we had recorded our takes after watching each of the episodes, and because most of us watched prior to, and what I had done to kind of, I had thought about this as I was telling them to do this, and I was like, well, no, I don't think I'm gonna have enough time to actually watch it beforehand, so I watched it live, and so you might hear some commercials in the background while I'm actually reacting. I obviously cut a lot of my reaction out because I wanted it to be more about feelings, like we always say about reacts, more than about insights. So that's, I just wanted to give you a little context of about why mine is a little more insane than yours, and it turned into something a little funny. So check this out, guys. This is our reaction, our first impressions of this episode. So take it away, Sam. We can laugh and whatever throughout this. So let's see. Is this gonna work? Is this gonna work? God damn it!
See it? Can I see it?
Better.
I can't see it.
No, it might take a little while to boot up, but let me.
Yeah,
you know
I'm sorry, Thomas. I thought maybe I could get you like a
yeah,
special
Thomas, you
birthday
broke.
wish.
We literally.
I know.
You broke the live stream. You broke Mikey essentially. So this is what's gonna happen. I'm gonna play the knee gun thing, and then we'll go back to the reaction. Hopefully, let's see if it works. It worked last time, and it was very loud. Let me do the other knee gun. Knee gun. Hold on.
Oh, I can hardly hear it, Dave.
Hold on a minute. Here we go. And watch Fear the Walking Dead's final 2 episodes, starting with the first. Very nervous.
Just watched the first of the series finale.
It's like 4:00 in the morning, and I just watched the first episode of Fear that came out tonight.
Damn it, I misread the instructions, and I thought I was supposed to just record after watching both of the episodes.
All I have to say is
I feel the same. This is stupid.
That fucking title sequence. What?
Wow.
It's all the people from the show.
They really brought it.
What I felt when I saw all the people in Morgan's life, all I see is red.
From the slamming of the truck at the beginning with the log, that was freaking awesome. Some of it, whatever. They're just like throwing the freaking punches, man. As far as this season goes, that was pretty exciting. But I don't know if the excitement is because it's the last 2 episodes or because it was really good.
I gotta admit, I really like that Crane was reintroduced in this back half because it's pretty exciting.
Props to Rachel, who was the one who said Crane would come back.
And I also like that it's kind of a foil. Crane illustrated so perfectly how they could get her to do anything so long as she believed she was protecting her children.
I called it.
I knew it.
Rachel was also the one who was positing that, well, we thought it was Troy and Alicia's daughter anyway, but Will would have to be the father, right?
Thankfully, Tracy is not the offspring of Troy and Alicia, because that would be like Maggie and Negan. I love that kid. Maybe now Madison has something to fight for, which is an excuse. It's a crutch. I wanted to see what Madison would become without her, and it's not a really good thing.
I'm kind of sorry to see Troy go because I liked him a lot. He was fun.
Madison killing Troy? I mean, it's consistent with the mutual quest for revenge, and it follows what she was prepared to do with Tracy.
Let's watch the second half of this shit show.
She Charlied her. She Charlied Madison like Charlied Nick.
This is a struggle.
Right after that, her repeating her origin story of how she had to kill her father. And it's so perfect because if Madison keeps going down that path, she turns into her daddy. The cyclical melodrama. Alicia eventually would have to be forced to kill Madison. Tracy is saving Alicia from having to do that, especially after killing her dad, Troy.
What do you say? You know, What do you say?
So I didn't
To
call
this.
it.
And Alicia coming back. I did not expect that.
I cried.
I will say how happy I am that they were able to somehow keep Alicia's appearance a surprise for us. That was very cool, very awesome. We all needed that moment of excitement without it being spoiled. So great job.
I was really happy to see June and Dove go off together. I wanted June to have a happy ending.
Seeing Daniel pick up Skidmark, getting that promise, actually got me emotional.
Daniel's reuniting with Skidmark is up there with Sarah and Wendell reuniting and Carol and Daryl reuniting. That was just the sweetest, most precious moment ever.
The blue bonnets both times. Tracy not knowing what that was all about, but Madison and maybe even Alicia knowing what that's about and what that means to Victor and leaving that in the truck.
I really laughed out loud when Victor looked over at the side and it was like the 3 Force ghosts over there looking at him.
I laughed.
It made me laugh out loud, sorry.
P.S. I still wish Madison was dead.
Nobody else could see him. It's just like, he's like Luke Skywalker and he's the only one that can see the Force ghost standing there.
I'm thankful that our characters got happy endings, that we got to see everything come full circle, and we did get some of that redemption that I wanted.
I don't want to like say bad things right now.
So I feel the same way that I felt after The Walking Dead ended.
There were things I liked.
I thought I was going to be really mad.
There were things that were like, no.
The more I look at this, maybe there will be things that make me mad, but
Thank you, Fear, The Walking Dead.
Thank you guys for bringing this lovely show to us.
Everybody behind the camera in front of it, for giving me my family, sharing yourself and your talents with my family.
so much of my time has been spent with these characters, and you're saying goodbye to them.
I'm not gonna lie, the thank you at the end got me more than anything else.
I'm sad, but I'm happy.
And thanks for keeping us whole through a pretty rough time. It means everything. You also carried us through our joyous moments and just were there for us.
Didn't think it would just be 2 minutes of me crying, but this is literally immediately following watching the episode. Classic Bridget.
And I'd like to think that we were there for you too, a million times over. Thank you.
I'm going to bed now.
I'm gonna miss them.
Someone tipped
I'm gonna miss
$3.
them.
Well, and then someone tipped $3. Somebody bought us a coffee. That's probably Lois, I want to say. I could confirm.
All right, I feel like a demon here, since I was the only one that didn't like give out this huge public thank you to everything.
Yeah, you're a horrible human.
Everyone's like emotional and like, thank you so much for everything, and I just like followed the instructions, like give us your initial reaction, and that's it. It was literally like. It was like a combined total of like what 36 seconds is what I said.
Well, so I like stretched it as much as I could. I kind of saved it.
Like get it out and send it and do it. Just do the thing. Yeah. But everybody's here. So I mean, obviously I feel like it goes without saying. Thank you. Thank you to the cast, the crew, everybody involved in this. I mean, Mikey said it best. I mean, we really did create a family here. I mean, it's unbelievable what a fictional television can show can do for real people. You know what I mean? We felt still feel so attached to these characters and can see a little bit of ourselves in you know, many of them, if not all of them, and it's a beautiful thing. And I've never felt closer to people who live hundreds and sometimes thousands of miles away, and I'm so thankful for this family. And I'm not gonna cry, so we're gonna move on now. Thank you.
Cry,
Enough
cowboy.
for everybody. It's fine.
Yeah, Bridget
Bridget did
cried.
enough crying for everyone.
Oodles and poodles for both of us.
I don't cry. I'm
Thomas, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Thomas.
Happy birthday, Thomas. Make it good. We're thankful for you. So Thanksgiving,
I hope
happy
you get
Thanksgiving.
your present Friday.
Oh,
Hey, tip $10 so they'll play you happy birthday.
Thomas.
Yeah.
So we have to tip him $10 in sync because I think that's how he would want that to go.
He said sorry he broke Mikey. It's
Listen.
all right. I think he'll be okay, Thomas. He just needs a break.
Yeah, he needed a glass of water because it cost him too much to give us a compliment from his throat mouth. Sorry.
Ugh.
So
By the
do
way,
you want
Felicia said something, by the way, in our Instagram chat. She was only able to stay for a couple seconds, but she said, "Love you guys, can't stay, got people coming over, but I sent Blazy and Bridget over my super long 2 cents way too late." So I figured you guys might know what she's talking about.
She sent me her thoughts. I haven't looked at it because she just sent it a few minutes ago.
Oh, I was gonna say I didn't get anything, but
I can read them if you want. It's in my instance. I can pull it up and read it if you want.
Pull it up, but I think Bridget, did you want to say something? I forget. I think you wanted to.
oh yeah, there's Felicia. Oh, there's even like a
Oh my god.
voice memo.
That's like
Oh,
100
okay.
miles long.
Yeah, so I'll have to listen. I'll
Yeah,
have to
okay,
read
that's
and
not
listen
happening.
later.
Maybe we'll do a separate episode. Okay. Oh, were you saying? I thought you were about. You said
No,
so I thought
I
something
thought
was going
Bridget
to
was gonna say something.
If I did, I lost it.
Okay.
If I had something,
So,
I lost
To
it.
sum up, that was our initial reactions.
Okay, now do you want our current reactions?
Have they shifted? No, because then we
Uh,
should just get into the meat of the
No,
episode,
no.
right? Because
We
that was
should
the whole
just get
purpose of
into it.
this.
Plus, I didn't watch the episodes again on purpose so that I would maintain
That
that
initial cry
level.
reaction, right?
Yeah.
But I'm actually curious. Was it maybe like what Bridget was saying, that watching it again made you feel differently about it?
no.
Okay.
I still feel the same about the majority of the episode.
Okay.
I didn't like it, but I didn't hate it. And as I've said before, I got what I wanted this season. I got Savage June, and June got a happy ending, as happy-ish an ending as she could get and expect. And we got the mention of the cabin, which was super cool, and we got to see the Dory guns, which is
And
super
how what the significance of that was for her?
right. So, while I didn't get the ending that I liked particularly, for reasons I'm sure you all know, you know what? I don't want to take it away from the people who did get what they wanted. The show's
That's what you were telling me
over.
before
Their
about
show's
how I'd
over.
be
Yeah,
surprised.
the show's over. There's no reason to be like, oh, well, you got what. No, it's not like I'm glad you guys got what you wanted, because I pretty much got what I wanted too. So
Which
I'm
is
not,
kind of amazing
I'm,
that
I
they
mean,
could
I'm
do
gonna
that.
complain about some things because there was just some ridiculous stuff.
Right.
But on the whole, I think it ended as well as they could end it. And I was happy with it.
And,
aside from what y'all know I don't like. So
right. And I was even thinking to myself, and it wasn't until you had said it just now, very eloquently, by the way, that it's very easy to underappreciate that they could deliver, even if it's not the way people would have wanted, but that they could actually satisfy, even to a moderate degree, to high degree in some cases, many people's aspirations. Like overall, it's very important to also remember that these are the kinds of shows, these TWDU shows, that typically people die and there's rarely happy ending. And it's very interesting to hear the critiques in the rear view about The Walking Dead and how, well, they got soft and they don't kill kids and they all these like things that people say, oh, from season 8 on, it's like they stopped killing people and they want happy endings and they want to wrap up the show. And it's nice to know that Fear the Walking Dead doesn't have to be that way, and yet was. And to a brutal extent, season 8, to a big degree, was like, hey, we didn't forget what the Walking Dead universe was always about. We're going to be depressing, and we're going to give it to you, and we're not going to go soft. We're going to kill kids, maybe a few, and all the way till the end, almost. Like the last episode, Madison's about to kill Tracy, and I'm like, okay. And so I don't know if they heard those critiques and decided, we're not going to go out like those bitches. You know what I mean? So going back to the point, the end, the fact that they could like wrap it up and give most people a satisfying ending, even if it's not exactly the way they wanted it or to the extent that they wanted it, that has to go appreciated, because even I didn't expect them to wrap it up as well as
I mean,
they did.
my biggest gripe overall for the season is that they spent so much time on Madison and Strand. I mean, that was legitimately the majority of my complaint. I mean, aside from just stupid stuff, but overall, I was angry with the season because the characters that I loved got the short end of the stick,
Right.
screen
If
time
not for
wise.
the
I
fact that
can
some of those characters got the short end of the stick, it wouldn't have been so
Right,
I can
bad.
understand that.
right. I could have
I
dealt
can
with all the
understand
other
that.
stuff, but having the characters that I like get shoved to the back, and I mean, you guys know they got very little screen
or off
time in the
screen
back half.
altogether.
Mm,
So yeah, or off screen altogether. So I'm angry about that. That is the majority of my
critique.
antagonism
Oh,
against this season is the fact that it was centered so heavily around Madison, Morgan, and Strand that everybody else got shoved to the wayside. But again, I got what I wanted either way, so I can't really be too upset. But I wish my people had had more screen time, is what I'm saying.
right. The people that I
I
followed is what you mean.
I get
Right.
that. I really do get that. And that's coming from someone who like season 3 is my favorite season of Fear. I'll say that I was happy with the amount of time that we got, especially in these last 2 episodes with Strand and Madison, but that's because that's the story that drew me into the show. For you, it was a completely different story. I get that. I totally get that.
Which and that's
I'm not saying that what they did was right, but I felt thankful that I was getting a resolution to something that I felt like I was never going to get a
and I
resolution
mean
to.
that's why I am glad for the people who got the ending that they wanted. I mean, I really am because again, we had different, and I know they're the OGs. Those were the OG people. I totally understand that and get that. It just doesn't change the fact that I was angry that because of the OGs, my people got shoved off to the side or off the show completely.
Right.
So, and
Maybe there's even a part of you that thinks, who am I to complain too? Because it's like, okay,
well, I mean,
why?
look, I am going to complain about some of the stupid
Well,
stuff. I
that's
mean, it
why
was
I'm
just
glad.
ridiculous.
That's why I'm
But
glad. I
but
really
I'm
am.
I'm over. I'm not going to be hateful about the ending, right?
You know what's
Even though the 952 Madison death fake outs really got me. That made me so mad. Like,
the
just kill her
one
and be
was
done with it.
actually interesting.
Begin to tell you how mad I
Just
was about that.
just kill her and be done with it, please.
So, well,
But
in a way, they kind of did. I mean, in
And
like a
we'll
figurative way.
not
They're like,
not
yeah, we'll
good
get to that.
enough. Not good
but
enough.
let me go off of what some people are saying about Alicia in the chat. And what's interesting about that is that you would think, I mean, being an OG, and I think she's, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think she is kind of like the one character that has sailed through both iterations of the show and that basically everybody insanely loves. I mean, Victor obviously is a selective taste because over the years, I know that during our episode discussions, when we were going live or when we weren't, Victor was a mixed bag for many people. Oh, Victor, I hate Victor. Oh, I wish he'd die or something like that over the years. But Alicia consistently, generally most people dig. And so why it was great that they brought her back for this final episode is like in a way, as much as I'm a slave for story, I have to acknowledge that people sometimes operate on the characters that they follow. That's their avatar. That's their experience in the universe, and that's who they identify with. Like Phil said in our interview, like sometimes you just pick a character and then ride on their experience and say, "Oh, I relate to their experience here," even though I'm not that person to a degree. To a degree. So to have Alicia show up at the end, which I did not expect. I mean, even hearing her voice, I don't know if you guys felt the same way. Even hearing her voice, I was like, that's not her. And then even when seeing the silhouette of her, that's an actor, and they just did voiceover. I'm literally showing you my process, and I'm like, she's hugging a stand-in. She's not really. Then she turns around. It's Alicia. It's Alicia. It's Alicia Dutton Carey. I'm like, they did it. I don't know how they did it, but they did it. And I turned into one of those people. That's the long of the in the short of it, really. I turned into one of those people that, like Daryl, he grew on me. Alicia was the same way. She grew on me over time, and that's how relationships should evolve. Really, is that you kind of grow into each other, And then when you see her again after not seeing her for so long, it's kind of nice. So
Alicia was definitely my girl right from the beginning of this series. She's who I was drawn to right away. Even though in the earlier seasons, you know, she wasn't, you know, what I would call like your hero. You know what I mean? She wasn't doing the things and killing the walker. Like, she wasn't ready for this world. She really wasn't. So I loved watching her adapt and learn how to survive in this world and really see this evolution in her that I think, you know, if this were real, a lot of us would go through. You know what I mean? Like, no one can be ready for this kind of world, but she did it. She got herself in that headspace, and she made herself ready, and she survived it somehow.
through every knockdown too, by the way.
Somehow she survived all of it. That's all I'm going to say about that. But I did not expect to see her back. I mean, I think we even said last episode, like, I would love to see Alicia, but it's not going to happen. Like, I was dead set, like, ready to not see her in this final episode. I was preparing myself for that. So when I heard her voice,
Did you have the same experience?
it's like, no. And then she said, and then she spoke again. And I'm like, no. I was like screaming at the screen. And then they showed her, and I'm like, okay, all right. And immediately my brain is like, okay, how? Like, maybe she, like, filmed on location and they just like sort of inserted her in. And I'm like,
did like
my
a
first
CG swap.
Yeah.
Face swap.
First thought was, how did they not tell us? Like, how did they not spoil this for us? Like, I was so thankful and so grateful that we got this genuine surprise. I mean, over the years, how many times have we unfortunately been spoiled
every
on
surprise?
Exactly. So, like, when I heard her voice, it took several scenes to convince me that she was actually there. And
several cuts. Yeah. I'm like, what the?
Yeah, it was so, my heart was just so happy. My heart was so happy. And
wait, can I hit on one thing? Because I don't know if I felt this at the time, but I felt like this is something that you would feel at the time. When you heard her voice, did you almost get mad because you're thinking to yourself, oh, they're just trying to troll us. That's not her, but it sounds a lot like her. And
no, I knew immediately it was her. No, I knew her voice.
I did too. Okay, so maybe it's just me. Because when I heard it, I'm like, they're doing this thing where it sounds like Alicia, and it's not going to be Alicia, and I'm going to be so mad. This is like,
that would have been so mean, but no, my head did not go there. That would have been
another cosplay.
I think a lot of things in the span of milliseconds.
One of the cosplayers.
They went so far to adapt her voice too.
They've elevated themselves to apostles to me based on what Strand says later on in the episode, because it's like Jesus, by the way.
You mean Alicia's Christ?
Alicia's Christ and the three apostles. Because
the show couldn't afford 12
because they couldn't afford 12. Are there 12?
And one of them, Scott Gimple's wife, which for free, I guess.
That makes sense.
By the way, I've seen her her demo reel, and she's really funny. She's really, really funny. I'm surprised I haven't seen her on more things. Wackencraft.
How much cooler would it have been?
I don't know. Wackenheim.
For it to be, how much cooler would it have been for it to have been Sarah behind the wheel of Swati pulling up and taking out all those walkers? Why did we have to have the cosplayers?
Absolutely.
We could have had Sarah could have been working for them this whole. Sarah could have gone back and found Alicia and helped her. Why did it have to be these strange people? Why couldn't we have our character?
You know
this
what?
This is another thing that I'm very angry about. Why couldn't we have our characters instead of these strangers that they could have definitely made it work?
Because they cost
They could have made. Yeah. I know that.
All three of them.
You wanted an answer. I was kidding. I know you didn't really want an answer.
Free.
But you know what? Take it on the other side. What if, because she doesn't know Troy, because they don't know Troy, Sarah and Wendell, what if she was part of Troy's army? That would have been cool too. Like, in a weird kind of looking at the other side of the mirror.
I would have taken them any way we could have got them.
But listen, this is our headcanon. We can do it.
The only way we get them, you know how we got them? You know how we got them this season? They're in the title card.
Yeah.
And I promise you they were added to the title card because everybody was so mad that they weren't in the season.
I
with
will
no
say this.
explanation.
I'm
There
sure
was
the
an interview that
creatives
was
felt
done.
like they wanted to at least do that. But
There
anyway,
was an
sorry, Bridget.
interview that was done where
With
it was
Gimple, right?
stated that
Oh no,
they did
Chambliss.
yeah, that they wanted to bring them back, that they had that storyline, and it ended up getting scrapped. And that, to me, that all that does is, yeah, I'm sad that that didn't go the way that I wanted it to, but it does reaffirm to me that their characters are still alive, and so I'm gonna just take that.
But that's all well and good. But if they couldn't do the storyline, they couldn't put a frickin' line in there somewhere. Luciana couldn't say, "Let me radio Sarah and Wendell. They're out on the road." They couldn't have one line in the entire. Even though we had Madison and Troy say the same thing 15 times to each other, we didn't have 10 seconds for them to say Sarah and Wendell's name and put it out there. I call, to quote Simon,
BS.
bull s.
However, I mean, I'm gonna push back just a little bit because what I really like I like when they don't do that, and I like when they don't add a little line because it makes the possibilities endless to me. Like if they decide to do something with that, they're not tied down to a single line,
Well,
which
they
is
weren't tied down to anything just to say that
But
they're
they did,
alive.
which is what
They're
happens
alive.
in
That
this
was
universe.
all that conveyed. That was all they
and
conveyed.
they
was
did
what-
add a line. They went so far as to add the line that Strand had.
Okay, so this is what pisses me off, and okay, sorry, I don't want to cut you off, and it's not nothing to do with you guys, but it has to do with the Walking Dead wiki. Okay, when that was released, the Walking Dead wiki is a fan-based wiki. It is not by the show; it is by fans, and people can go in there and edit things and do whatever they want. Bridget and I are probably on the same exact page. When that line was delivered, people assumed it was Wendell and Sarah. This was not confirmed by any showrunner or any producer, executive producer, writer, etc. So what pissed me off, and I really wanted to react more to this at the time, and I did say something to this effect. So when you see something like Ian, this is why I'm so mad. When Andrew Chambliss comes in and says, "Listen, there was a whole storyline meant for them, just that it got cut out because the studio, basically AMC said, you're not getting this. You're not getting 16 full episodes. We're cutting 4 whole episodes out of your season. Okay, so you gotta make do. You gotta make this story tight, and you gotta. I don't care how you land it.
They
You're landing
didn't do
it.
that though. They did not do that. This story was not tight in any way, shape, or form. It was all over the place.
But here's
and
my
you're
point.
never gonna convince me. Sorry, you're never gonna convince me that they could not put one line in there to let us know that they were alive.
But here's
and
my
still
point.
part of the universe.
Here's my point. Going back to my point, is that because somebody decided, hey, that's how they died, even though that was never confirmed, no authority in that realm confirmed that. People just ran with it. When Andrew Chambliss says something that there was a storyline meant for them, but we didn't have the money for it, then people can go to this. I hate this. People go to Andrew Chambliss and say you're full of S. You're full of S, and I don't think that's true. And I think if you want to criticize somebody based on the truth and not based on what people say. No, I'm not saying that's you. I'm saying in general.
But I'm not saying anything about Wikipedia because I had that thought on my own without Wikipedia, the wiki fandom. That was my own thoughts when I heard that line.
Oh,
that they just
well,
killed
then I
them
blame
off
you
off
too.
screen. It had nothing to do with that, and I didn't go to Wikipedia and change it.
Right.
But again, whether they're dead or not, or whether that line happened or not, or whatever, that's not the point. They still could have mentioned them in some capacity in the show. They could have put a 10-second line in there that said they're alive.
I agree with you, but if you go back further, they did say we don't know what happened to them. And so technically, if you just leave it there and you ignore that secondary line that everyone assumed was about Sarah and Wendell, then you did get that. Then you did get that we don't know.
Sorry,
Peggy,
Peggy's here.
Peggy, you just tamed the.
Hi, Peggy.
You just tamed Moby Dick here.
Just brought me down a notch.
Peggy Shaw, who played Tess in season 5, is here in the chat too on YouTube. Hi, Peggy.
Hey, wait a minute. How come they couldn't give us a line about where Tess is too?
I agree. She's with the kids
Come
in the
on.
caverns with Ranger Samuels.
Sarah and Wendell and Tess and the kids. Now, where are they? Come on, show.
Uh,
I demand a like tag on episode where they
guys,
explain everybody's
Some
where everybody
episodes.
we
is.
just
Give
figured
us,
it out.
give us some
We figured it out. I think I figured it out. You ready? Headcanon time. Sarah and Wendell decided, hey, we're lost. You know what? I don't really like this group very much. Let's find out what happened to Tess and the kids, and we'll scoop up even Ranger Sam. We need some muscle. Get Ranger Samuels in this mix.
That's the spinoff I was
There you
gonna
go.
pitch. That's
Oh.
the spinoff I was gonna pitch.
Maybe
see-
they went and picked up Mickey too. There you go.
Mickey from the Dark
They
Horses
just got
episode.
everybody now.
And then Wayne
Yeah.
comes in, and Wayne got killed in the first scene of that episode with Eli, aka Alex Scooby. Right, he gets shot in the first scene, I think. Right, Wayne.
Where
Wayne, not
are
Wayne.
my dragon fruits?
Oh wait, but he can be another character that we brought back again. like
If we're
Or
bringing
he-
anybody back, it's John. Sorry, I
or
don't
Wayne
care if
has
he's
a
dead or
twin.
not.
Wayne has a twin. His name is Dane.
Why twins' names automatically have to rhyme? Like he could be like Charles.
No,
Like, he
Dane.
doesn't have to rhyme.
Because there's
In
an
Dave's
answer
world,
to
it
that.
always rhymes.
There's an answer for that because parents are crazy when it comes to naming children sometimes.
You're not wrong.
Right.
I did know twins growing up when I played softball, and their names were Stacy and Tracy.
Thank you. Case closed.
No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Okay.
Because Bridget has a ton of stories. No.
No, just stop telling Dave he's right. Just everybody stop.
I
No,
don't-
no,
no,
no. She
episode
said
has
not
gotten-
wrong. She doesn't want to give me the satisfaction.
I said you're not wrong. I would never say Dave is wrong. But I will admit when he's
First of all, there is no. I can be completely wrong about this episode. Michael Satrazemis' comments. They're sending me to the moon right now.
Dave's living on cloud 9 right now. He does not even care.
He's like, you can say whatever you want.
I mean, I totally understand the feeling, Dave. I've had it before, so I get
I'm
you,
still
man. I
here.
get you.
I have not come down. It's why I'm so confrontational and spicy. What? Not at all.
Can I talk about something a little bit controversial?
Please.
Yes, please. I am ready. Let's do
No.
it.
Wait,
Let's
no.
do it.
No.
Come on. Come on.
Okay, fine.
Okay, so I read this.
Windows closed.
Oh,
I moved the hair on my hand. That says the time.
That's his robot thing. Weird.
Right.
Anyway,
Blurp.
I
weird
wish
that
it
someone
wasn't.
would manufacture that onto your robot body, but okay.
Have you seen Bicentennial Man? Okay.
oh, fair.
So I was
Dude, you
trying
do
to
resemble
stay,
Robin Williams.
Oh, thank you. Anyway.
I was trying to stay
Sorry.
away from a ton of content about this because one, I didn't want to get spoiled before I watched on Sunday. It did happen. I did get spoiled for Alicia's return, but I thought it was a joke. So I didn't actually know it until I watched the episode. So that did save it.
That's
And
good.
this is me just on TikTok, just scrolling, and it just pops up.
Mistake.
They start the video off with Alicia. I was like, rude.
Right.
Yeah.
With the little
Rude,
wavy
so
cap
rude.
cut effects.
Anyway, I
Right?
was like, what? But I thought it was a joke. So I was like, psh, didn't even think about it. So I've been trying to stay away from a lot of the content, but I did just by chance end up scrolling upon something today.
Oh.
And it was Daniel Sharman did say that he actually feels extremely disrespected with the way that his character was treated at the end. That his character death did not make him happy.
Ooh.
So I
He's
just
like
wanted you guys
literally
to
the
hear
only
that and know
one.
that because I thought
Well,
it was
no,
very
because-
interesting.
They brought him back, and it's all about redemption and second chances. And so
Mhm.
they bring him back, and he's obviously on a redemption arc. He's trying to take care of his daughter. He loved his wife. It may be a little twisted, but who isn't in the
Mhm.
apocalypse? And so they bring him on, and they have him have this big redemption arc where he wants to help people do good, and then Woody Woodpecker over here stabs him with Alicia's hand.
What do you,
No,
oh,
it was
okay.
so stupid.
Like, what are you talking about? Oh, I
Oh,
get it. Never
yeah,
mind.
no, I was like,
Took me a
wait, what?
while. But you know
So
what?
I just
Wait,
I
let me
will-
answer that with a question first before you continue. Okay, ready? But how many of you really, really enjoyed Daniel Sharman's performance as Troy?
I loved it.
Me.
I
Okay.
loved it.
And the fact that Madison kills him elevates how much we like even me, how much I enjoyed seeing that arc of him like evolve in that short
Well,
or
it did.
or
I
go
hate
back
her.
to the way he was before.
His death actually, in some weird way, does give him full redemption.
Right.
Because I'm no longer like, wow, this guy is a jerk. One,
Right.
talk about chewing the scenery. Thank you, Daniel Sharman,
I
for
know.
that.
Mhm.
Whew,
Just
my.
the beautiful experience of you this season.
They still
I and
kept it on the
all loved
line.
every part of it.
Yeah, they still kept it on the line, but
It's like him dying seemed so unfair that it almost makes an irredeemable character redeemable. In
Well,
that's
some
it.
weird
That's exactly
way.
what I mean.
I have a different perspective because I didn't watch 1 through 3.
Oh,
So I don't
True.
Daniel. I'm sorry.
dude, I had that problem with my
Troy
reaction
to me,
video.
Troy is a different character to me because I didn't see him in 1 through 3.
Sure.
I still think he was a jerk and a terrible person through most of this back half of the season, but he was clearly and easily the most entertaining out of everybody.
He was the same in 3, I think.
Yeah.
Also,
Oh yeah.
he chewed up
you
the
love
screen
to hate
even
him.
more. By the way,
Yeah, you love to
if
hate
you could
him.
believe
That's
it.
that's the whole thing with Troy.
Oh, he was
Eh,
twisted
Yeah.
in three. Yeah.
From the very beginning of being introduced to him, you're like, this guy sucks.
Yeah.
Show me more of that though.
You know what though? See,
Yeah.
can we hit on that a little bit because I don't know why I didn't think about it until now. But what was so great about it was which of these two characters is more insane, Madison or Troy? I'm not talking about in these episodes. I'm talking about back in season 3. But when we get back to the series finale, you're like, oh, Madison is the more insane person, not Troy. Because your default is Troy is crazy. Madison is just
Yes.
harnessing the bear. She put a harness on a bear on a wild bear and expected it to kind of tame it and ride them
Well,
through the
because-
apocalypse.
Dave, I've brought this up before. In season 3, we get that insight into Madison's past. It gets brought up again
Mhm.
in this last episode.
So there's like a
that's that's all the insight I
callback.
needed. As soon as I knew that before the apocalypse, she had murdered someone. Granted, was that murder deserved? Well, I'm not a judge, a jury, or an executioner, so I cannot make that decision. And neither can you, Madison, but you certainly did. When you take a look at that, it kind of changes the moral compass on her so much that you're like, she's nuts. She is crazy. She is beyond help. Weird that she became a guidance counselor.
not at all weird
Mhm.
at IMHO.
I don't know. It's some sociopath stuff. Like, I
that's
killed a
exactly
person, but
it.
I'm going to tell you how to make your life better.
Can I, you know what? I'll take it one step further. Psychopath. Psychopaths do this thing where, see, as opposed to a sociopath who are easier to pick out, psychopaths, they fit in very well because they examine human behavior so they can figure out how to fit in. Otherwise, they're spotted out and they're rooted out and they're taken to asylums. Sorry. I'm a psycho. As a psychopath, I identify as a psychopath. I know these things about psychopaths. I'm doing it to you right now. Anyway, so of course you'd become a psychopath. Of course you'd become a guidance counselor because she wants to study human behavior, especially in kids, so that she can fit in better into society.
To me, that sounds more like a sociopath. Psychopaths
Yeah, it does.
don't understand right and wrong. They don't feel. A sociopath knows and chooses the wrong path every time.
I think sociopaths just can't fit into societal norms. But and then a whole host of other
No.
things.
The opposite.
No, I think you're confusing it.
Yeah.
confusing it.
Well, psychopaths
Yeah.
don't feel the difference between
Shakira,
right
you
and wrong.
speak on this. You're going to school for psychology. You talk
Yeah.
about it
Anyway,
in the chat.
no, but going back to the point though, right, which is it's.
I think they were both different kinds of insane. They're not on the same level of their issues and their what is going on inside their head is not on the same level.
Yeah, but I think it was really interesting to see that. Okay, what did you want to say? Okay, so Takira says sociopaths are the ones
you were wrong.
Takira says sociopaths are the ones who have to study people to figure out how to act. I think psychopaths do that too, though. because they know they can't feel the difference between
Yes.
right and wrong, so they copy other people in order.
They
to
don't
feel it.
care though. The difference is a psychopath doesn't care.
They care in as much as it feeds their id, essentially. Like, okay, I want what I want, but maybe I have to pretend to be a certain way to get it. That's what they do.
Look
You're
here.
just having a
Between
sociopath.
Rachel
Oh,
and I
anyway.
and all of the true crime that we have watched and the Criminal Minds, we
We know.
basically have
We have a law
we
degree.
basically have a PhD together.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, PhDs are
Exactly.
they're not exactly what they're cracked up to be. But anyway, no.
Dr. Spencer Reed said,
What? Dr. Stabler
They have
and
they have
Hargitay.
PhD.
Anyway, I don't know. I don't know these things. Why do you let me talk? Anyway.
They have PhTVs.
I see.
yeah,
Even more worthless than PhDs. Anyway, I'm just kidding. I'm not to burn people who have PhDs, but also, yeah, probably. No, but going back to the point, whereas before, by default, you saw Troy as, oh, this is the bad guy, and Madison, you're like, but why is she playing with the bad guy? Here, it's more like Madison's obviously the bad guy, and Troy seems to be like, okay, is he a bad guy? We were questioning this even as early as Anton, like, oh, is he the bad guy though? Because obviously we're sus people. We're like, oh, but maybe he isn't. But this is what we're seeing. This is how we're told to see it.
I don't think that means what you think it means.
Hello, young people, fellow young people. I hate you, but I also don't because it's hilarious. Hello, fellow young people. Sus. It's lit. Nobody says lit. It's fire. Bet.
No, you're bad. It's all bad, Dave.
Bet.
Stop.
Also, what's the other one? Oh, the one I really like. I'm forgetting it. Oh,
Fleek.
no,
On Fleek.
no, lit is Fleek is like lit.
Yeet.
It's the same. Put it in the trash bin of
Yeet.
history.
Oh my God,
Yeet.
stop. I don't want to get sucked into your old.
Based. That's my favorite one. That's based. Yo. Based. You never
I
heard
don't-
of based?
That's
I don't
not
know
that's
that
not
one.
really a thing anymore either.
Ah,
Dave.
That's a
I'm an
turkey
old-
term.
It's,
That's what
it
you
is
do
in
to a
libertarian
turkey.
terms.
That's what you do to a turkey. Yeah,
That's what you do to a
exactly.
turkey.
No, I
Yeah,
hope not.
basting. He's just
Anyway.
ready for Turkey Day.
He's Googling these words as he's talking and thinking he knows what they mean.
Can I point out a pretty cool parallel?
No, but yes, of course.
Madison getting shot by Tracy mirrors, and Nick getting shot by
Charlie,
because
Mhm.
she had just killed she had just killed Tracy's guardian in a pretty gruesome way. Not quite as bad as antlers, but pretty gross. Especially when you think that, like, she thinks Alicia's her mom, so basically her grandma just stabbed her dad in the stomach with her mom's arm. That is a little messed up. Sorry.
Although I can imagine most in-laws doing that.
But then Charlie was the same thing. She killed Nick because Nick had just killed her guardian.
Also via stabbing.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the thing, though.
Except going through the back instead of the front.
Here's the thing.
Mm.
It turns out that Nick was killed for nothing because Madison wasn't dead. He killed Ennis because he thought Ennis was the reason Madison died. Madison wasn't dead. So Nick and Charlie were all a waste, and it was because Madison, instead of being the person she's supposed to be that everybody loves so much, this wonderful character, she didn't go look for her kids. She believed some people who picked her up out of a water tank at the stadium. Okay, I'll buy that. Sure.
You would have boiled alive, but it's fine.
What?
You would have been Madison soup, but it's okay.
Is that like Shredder and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
And she just
it was
blipped
all
in there.
waste because Madison was never dead in the first place. So everything that happened after that.
But I want to do a
she didn't
voice.
She didn't go back and find out.
Tonight I dined on Madison soup.
You touched on the people that came to pick up Madison soup, and I just want to say,
It's Madison soup. Campbell's Madison soup.
I'm just hungry for a little takeout. I just have to say that
Gosh.
okay, Crane. I know that it was like one, Rachel was the only one who had like jokingly stated that Crane would come back. And so points for you, Rachel. That was great. Two,
On accident.
the amount of laughing I did during those Crane scenes was so ridiculous. The found you thing, it killed me. I was yelling in
I'm seeing it
the
in
bed.
my
I was like,
head.
ah! Like it just got me. The fact that he was like, found you. I was like, who is this guy?
like, he was
Where have
just-
you been?
It was so
Where have you
random.
been?
It was so random for him to just pop out of, which of course now we see that we're supposed to know that they were the ones that laid the traps, right? They were the ones that had the log.
Mhm.
By the way, the log trap.
Cool.
Oh hell yeah, that was
That
awesome.
was cool.
That was awesome.
I
Come
was the first
on.
time I was like, oh damn.
Yeah, it came
Okay,
out of nowhere. It was
But
great.
they were the ones that set up the log traps and the pit trap and all that. So it was like, I guess that was the foreshadowing, but otherwise it was just this totally random appearance out of nowhere.
I
Because
loved
they
it.
haven't mentioned them all season. There's been no mention of anything. All of a
I
sudden,
love-
here they are.
I loved every minute of it. I
But-
loved it because it was like he was chewing up the scenery. I was like, what is this performance? Why were you not this before?
She
This
got
is
bit over
incredible.
and over and over and over.
It was so good. I was like, why were you not like this before? Had you been like this before, I would have loved you. Crane, you would have been like my favorite character because it was so over the top.
Because he looks insane now. That's why
I
you
love
like him
it.
so much.
I loved
Like, you
doesn't
going-
that look like Kingdom gear that they were wearing when they first showed up?
Yeah,
I was like,
kinda.
why are there Kingdom people here?
Or
And then I realized
specifically,
who it was.
Who you know who it looks like specifically? Jesus. Paul Rovia.
Oh, I was like, you mean like Alicia's?
Right before he left.
Okay.
No,
you
like the
just
plates and stuff. and-
confused me.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, not Alicia's. It's Jesus.
Alicia.
I loved it. I
Yeah.
wish that storyline could have gone more in that direction originally because I think there would have been a lot more buy-in. From
Yeah,
the
but that would have been
audience.
too much.
Had they
I think.
acted,
Oh,
I don't think so.
Sorry.
We were already at the point where it's like this show is ending and everything is going like sideways. It might as well also be acted over the top because then at least
Well, they
I'm
were
getting
saving it for
entertained.
this. I think. You know, it's like potential energy. It carries you all the way several episodes later, like, oh, surprise! You know, like
Oh, the
and a
found
cartoony
you- the
log
found
hitting the
you.
truck off the road. Come on.
My favorite line of the whole show was just "found you."
Found you.
Found you. Like, who are you? Why are you doing this? I love
You know
it.
what? And I said it to Daniel Rashid on his Instagram. I was like, you leaned in and you embraced this madness.
Yeah, I saw your comment.
And I'm
I saw
like-
your
It was
comment.
And no, and
It
I
was amazing.
seriously respect it because they're going to him and they're saying, look, bring it to 12, not 11, bring it to 12 because we got to go out crazy. And look, as ridiculous-ish as his performance was and the way he was supposed to be depicted, I like that he was a mirror to all these three people are going like there's the Spider-Man meme. Oh, you're doing the thing where you hate people and don't help. Oh, you're doing the thing that hate people don't help. So, and Troy's looking at this and going, you know, I made that deal with you. I don't like this guy because he reminds me of me, what I'm turning into now, and I don't like it. And he's clearly I'm liking Troy because he's seeing that, and he's like, I don't want it. I don't want you, Madison. You can have it. I don't want it. You can take me home. Country road. Take me home. Sorry, I went somewhere. I don't know why.
That got
So-
weird.
So speaking of people hating people, I just want to say that
Speaking of
what
again,
David, you said people hate people. So anyway,
yeah.
one of the things I really disliked about this season was how antagonistic all of our people were to each other. Because one of the things that I loved about 4 and 5 and even 6 was even though they were usually separated, they were always trying to get back to each other and all find each other as a group. Even in season 6, that was the whole point of 6 was they were all trying to get away from Virginia and all regroup. But now they all hate each other, and they all it's so sad. I don't like it. I don't like the way they went with that. I don't like that everybody split up at the end because they all hate each other now. It was just so depressing to me. That was one of the things that I really, really hated about this season was the friction and the hate between all of our characters.
I didn't like
It
it.
does mirror the first season to
Does
some
it?
degree.
Oh,
Now that you're
okay.
saying that.
Expand on that.
Now that I'm thinking about it, because you're right, and I saw your comment about that, Charity, and I agree. It made it hard to have the buy-in, but that's always what I've said about Madison is that it's hard for me to like her because she's always self-sabotaging. That first season, there's Liza who doesn't really want to be with her ex-husband and Madison, but has to be to survive. There's Daniel who got roped into this crazy mess, does not want to be with them, just wants to take care of his wife and his daughter,
Sounds familiar.
right? There's Chris
Mhm.
who everybody hates. Wah, wah. Uh,
Not
Truth.
accidental. Not accidental that
there,
that's the case.
there's all the beef with Nick because he's just been a junkie for years, who's been dragging his mom through it over and over and over again. So his sister's got beef with him. Travis doesn't want to be around him because he can't get his life together. There's all of this like problematic energy between all of them. And it's
Dysfunctional.
kind of that again. It's kind of that again. It's almost like they got enough space to be away from each other to say, hey, yeah, we're family now. Turns out we don't really actually like each other.
But I like
We're
that there's
family. We'll never lose this bond. We will never lose this bond. But it was out of necessity that we were together. And now
Right.
we
I
don't
don't even,
have to be.
but
We
I
can
don't
go
even
do our
feel
own
like
thing.
through a lot of our at the end of this episode, through a lot of our people, there was no. I don't even feel like there was bonds between them anymore. Like they just completely were gone. Bye. That's it.
I
You know.
mean, I was
I don't agree with
sad. I
that.
was sad about the disintegration of like them being as a group. I was sad about it. That everybody was going their separate way. But the way in which they were leaving felt hopeful for them as people, so that was enough to carry it through.
As opposed to the
That's how I felt about
beginning
it. Because
where
yeah,
it was not at all like that. Right? Because
yes,
we meet
exactly.
June and she's cutting off fingers of Padre people. And even what Morgan, definitely Morgan to an extent, because that's not the Morgan we knew, right? That's it's my daughter. Like, no, give her back. She's not my daughter. No, she's not. I just know we made a deal. It's not the Morgan we know from both shows. It's insane. And so by the end of it, when they do part, it's on different terms. It's on better terms. It's to spread the gospel of whatever, of this Madre, maybe, whatever it is, and doing their own thing. But
And I will say this. I will say this, and y'all can fiercely disagree with me, and that is fine. But I felt that the caliber of acting that we received from Kim Dickens was elevated in these last two episodes.
especially in
This
contrast.
felt more like the Madison I knew in like the early seasons. This felt more like that. And I was really thankful for that because it seemed like she was finally like in it. So we talked
She was
about
like, I'm almost done. Thank God.
yeah, maybe. I think some of that has to do with the fact that it does take some time to get back into a character that you stepped away from for a while.
I mean, again, I didn't know Madison in the first 3 seasons. I liked Madison in season 4. I liked her mindset. You know, we're gonna help people and stuff. I really liked that about her, and I was sad when she died, but I did not like a little sad. I did not like this iteration of her at all, and a lot of that may be antagonism because of things that have happened in the past, not connected to the show, but I still just don't like Madison at all.
which
Right.
I
I
would
understand you don't
I
have
would
to.
I would be glad if she had never been on the show again.
I know
I
it's
would have
been
been
said on the
totally fine
show.
with that.
It's been said on this show, and that's in the first 3 seasons. There are many people who say we automatically do the thing. Okay, she's the protagonist. We're supposed to like her, right? But I don't know a lot. Right, I'm looking at Rachel's face, but there were people that are like, I don't like her. I don't like her. I know I'm supposed to like her, but I don't like her. And
I don't understand
but
how
that's
people
what made
just
me like
love
her more.
so much. I don't understand how people are so in love with this character. Like to the point
What-
that they brought her back, that they bullied the network into bringing her back. I just do not understand the love for this character. She's terrible. She is a terrible person and a terrible character. I don't get it. I understand people do, and if you do, that's great. Good on you.
Yeah, that's me.
This is my personal opinion.
It's great.
I cannot stand her. I don't
I'm-
understand where it's coming from.
Wait, let me just say what
I'm
Takira
gonna
said,
agree with.
if I may.
Okay.
Takira said, "Oh, I know why it's like this because the OGs. Well, not the OGs. You're talking about Ian and Andrew. Actually, wrote the last few episodes. I mentioned
No,
this.
no. I asked her for clarification because I didn't
Oh.
understand what she was saying.
Okay.
She said the OGs rewrote their final episode. So I was like, who? And she said Coleman and Kim.
Did
Coleman
they have writer
said,
credit?
Coleman said that they rewrote
Oh.
their character endings.
Oh,
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
He did do an interview.
Daniel
with,
didn't. Daniel Sharman.
Well, he did some interviews. He
No, he
did
didn't
not
write
rewrite
his character.
It's
No,
a
he
shame
did
because
not
I thought
rewrite it.
the way they did even Daniel dirty. Sorry, so not Daniel. Troy. They did Troy dirty. Even that was kind of cool to watch. It really almost redeemed his character. I don't know if he wanted that. Maybe he wanted him to be a little bit more on the line or dastardly or whatever you want to call it. But I don't know. I thought that was.
I think it's hard. I mean, I didn't read the article because I just saw it and I was like, okay, let me step away from this.
I'll talk.
This is an
I'll call
interesting
him.
piece
I'll
of
call Daniel Sharp.
information.
Yeah.
I will, of course, give you the link to the article so you can put it in the blog.
Blog,
so
thank
people
you.
can go look at it if they want. But you probably just have to Google his name, and I'm sure it'll show up.
Daniel talks S about fear. Ooh, that's what we like to write about.
Carranza just said that Madison was the anti-hero, and that is definitely true to this series. She was not much of a hero as much as she was an anti-hero. I feel like that's always how I felt.
I know.
Hater.
I try to shy away from that moniker because, first of all, the show, everybody's an anti-hero, if you want to use that scale. But I feel like
Well, sure.
she's more of like a force of nature, right? I mean, much in the way, and this is why I like that Troy, in a way, I like that Troy came back because it almost highlights Madison in a whole new light, showing that he's been trying to make right, and Madison not trying to make right, or at least at first trying to, and then as she finds out about Alicia being murdered, she goes downhill with every single episode and appears more like Troy with each episode.
But again,
or old Troy.
like the thing with Nick, she killed Troy for no reason because she was alive the whole time.
Right.
So it's like, thanks,
Mhm.
thanks for that. Now
Yeah.
Troy is unhinged, so who knows what would have happened had they let him live. Ultimately, maybe it was the right decision. But again,
No, it's not, and that's the point.
Well,
not for
no, I
me
mean,
to
much
say.
much
Not if
like
we're looking for redemption.
I mean, I feel like much like. Go ahead, Rachel. Weren't you gonna say something
Oh, I'm sorry.
like
Yeah,
like 5
I
minutes
was.
ago?
oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was.
Go ahead. Well, say it.
I was gonna agree with Bridget. I do think Kim's acting was
Oh.
stepped up these last couple of episodes, and I thought as much while I was watching the episodes. I thought, wow, it's not excruciating watching this potato perform on screen these episodes. But I still don't like Madison. Like, she's still the character is still making horrible decisions. I mean, they all stood in that little huddle talking about redemption and second chances, and
Except for
then
Daniel.
she immediately walks over to Troy and stabs him in the stomach. Like, but you didn't listen to a word these people just said to you. She's like, nah,
Not
I know
only-
best. And that has
not
been her
only-
problem the
That's
whole
always
time.
been her.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
Not
always
only
been
did she stab him, but she did it right in front of his daughter.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
Yep.
No chill.
Earshot.
She did it right in front
Yeah.
in front of his daughter. She stabbed him in the
Yeah.
stomach.
right,
that-
but doesn't that also go to
That's
what she says
that's
to?
been the thing I don't like about her.
Yeah, isn't that the thing? Doesn't that go to the thing that she says to Tracy in the car? To that something I was trying to say in the last episode when it came to Motley Crue and Livewire. Like, she's reliving the cyclical drama, and she can't stop. She can't break this cyclical melodrama. Sorry, Bridget.
Yeah.
Get it right, Dave.
Sorry.
Quote my
I did the
horrible
reaction
therapist,
video.
Right.
I did. And so it's interesting to see that cyclical melodrama that we can't, that's authentic, that you can't break free from unless you decide. The first step is deciding to. Second is to seek help, right? Is to find the tools that you need to move on. But everybody to a degree. And now, this goes to your comment about seeing these people not even liking each other at first. We're being antagonistic to one another. We're not trusting one another. And all the time with the first few episodes, it was hard to remember that it was a 7-year time jump, right? Geography, fast travel, feeling like, except for Mo and like, oh, that's the clear indicator. But like, other than that, kids, right? We were like, oh, we measure time by kids. But but feeling like didn't we only just see them moments ago? But
well, also the other problem is that Alicia Devin McCary has not aged the entire time she's been on the show.
Okay, that's genetics.
She looks exactly the same.
That's genetics.
Also,
it's unreal.
She looks. This explained to me how she fell asleep on the beach, and she woke up.
It's Maybelline.
And looked amazing, and just went back and saved all these people from. The reason they had to leave was it was on fire, and all the radioactive walker dust was going everywhere, the walker smoke. So how did she go back in there and everything's fine? Because I'm gonna tell you what, she looks really good. She put some weight on.
Remember,
her face
again,
looks good.
it's 7 years.
She's got some damn like Pantene going on here or something.
Yeah.
Like,
Girl,
also the
that
tailor,
radiation.
Did she get a tailor because her clothes look really good?
She has a long time to take care of the little
Remember,
things.
guys, she wasn't sleeping before any of that happened. So when she passed out, she finally got a good nap.
She got like 3 days worth of rest.
Wonders.
She got sunburned, right? Sunburned. Also, there's that haze that protects her from the rays of the sun. That radioactive haze.
Whatever.
I want to say what Carranza said in the chat really quickly. He said Alicia always felt more like the protagonist to me in the show, and I have to agree with you. I do have to agree with you. It does seem,
and yet not.
Over time, it ended up because it was really pointed towards Nick for a long time, but I think really and truly Alicia was the protagonist of the show.
But why is there that instinct, right? We're quiet, but there's that instinct to say, but was she? Because the show obviously didn't do push-ins on her as much as they could have, or they focused on other characters, or people had different favorites like Daniel or even Victor, right? So,
I think
but that's like saying Rick isn't the protagonist of The Walking Dead. He really and truly is, Dave, if you really look at it.
Right. They started out like that. But I think this was around the time that The Walking Dead even was focusing on, was trying to blend Rick into the general hero protagonist pool, right? It all of a sudden wasn't about Rick. Maybe they focused a little bit more on Carl until they decided to kill him off. Maybe Michonne. But this is in the era when Fear the Walking Dead came out, is like shortly before that shift from Rick as the major protagonist that we all follow. And so it's not easy. Like there's this instinct inside you to say, but is she the protagonist? And definitely Madison started out as it's her perspective, it's her point of view. But then eventually you're like, okay, I'm following Nick now. This guy seems like he's walking in a general direction that's safe. I hate Chris. Alicia, questionable decisions
you follow
too.
Nick from the very first scene of the first episode, Dave. Right. It was always the kids. It was never Madison.
Yeah.
Always
Don't you want your protagonist making better decisions?
Sorry, say that again.
Don't you want your protagonist making better decisions? I mean, you want this person to be.
I want my good guys to be good, my bad guys to be bad.
Well, it's almost like she's the folly to them, right?
Well, they're all
Madison's always the folly to her children.
Well, but that's the thing. They're all.
And Rick kind of had that sort of instinct to him too. Like Rick didn't always make the best decisions either.
At first, they seemed like the best decisions, and eventually, the things that you thought people should do didn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like Rick still took in a little more than Madison. He took into account other people, at least. Madison is just on her own. She's like, this is what we need to do. I don't care what you say. This is what we're doing. And if people disagree, she does it anyway.
Right.
And this has been her character from the beginning.
I hate that. I love it so much.
Finale was the perfect example of that, because here's Strand like, I need you to come help me do this. I need you to come help me. And she's like, nope, I'm going to go find my dead kids. Sorry, you're on your own. Yeah,
that was
sorry.
so emotional.
I was like, what is
now
wrong
you
with
care
you?
about where your kid is.
That it
And
really
then she thought she was dead. She
She's a
thought she
terrible
was
mother.
dead. You're going to look for a dead person when you got live
Probably.
people right here that need you.
Right.
Well, and
Right.
I'm so glad that he said that. He did
Mhm.
say that to her, which I'm so thankful
Mhm.
for. But it also goes to show that she always has been a truly imperfect character. She's had so many flaws that have been so abundantly clear, and her children have always come first over everything. The entirety of this series has been about the Clark kids come first. Nobody else does. And although her and Strand did develop a very close friendship, that still does not override that her children come first, and that was just made abundantly clear by that scene, which it
Mhm.
hurt me. It hurt me as a person because
To watch Victor stumble on his words
that Strand asked for help.
for his family,
Oof,
which
yeah.
he has done. He put his hands in the fire at the stadium to pull Alicia through the fire, the oily Walker fire,
Yeah.
and
That
he
he
has a
asked for help.
scar. And
That he
for
asked for
her
help,
kids,
and that she I know, it's like he just
He
kept
has
going.
a scar.
He has
Yeah.
a scar.
supposedly, which is why he always wears gloves, because he doesn't want to show that the burn hand scar usually.
That he was asking for help, but also that she was so unwilling to see beyond herself, which is truly just pinnacle Madison.
Well, beyond
Mm-hmm.
her
Mm-hmm.
desire to give, what Tracy says, beyond her desire to programmatically give her kids the life that she didn't think that she never had, which is very succinctly explained. But on the flip side of that, it makes Victor look like a hero majorly. He's like, I saw this in both episodes, but I saw this in the last episode too. Confusing because we're used to so much from Victor. I wrote so many times in my notes, which you can get, like, is this altruistic? Is it really all about Tracy? And then these last two episodes, you're like, he's commanding.
I was so thankful for it because, as I said, I really wanted Victor to get redemption because people can hate him. I understand he was not a well-loved character throughout the show. I have always loved him. I don't know why. I just have. He was on my list of 5 with Daniel. It's like these are the characters that I
that
truly
I shouldn't
love.
like, but I do. In
And
a way.
I loved him. I loved the fact that he was a con man, and it added this extra layer to him, and you never knew where he was gonna land
And you
on
kind of get
anything.
why he was a con
I'm
man.
so thankful. I'm so thankful that he got that redemption and that he got the family that he always wanted. And we got to see that for everyone. And I wish Sharon D was here right now because she is, thank goodness,
I'm here.
because that was the big deal with June. I was so thankful to see she got the daughter that she lost in Dove. She gets her daughter back.
Okay.
She gets
Yeah.
and
She would have been about your age.
I was
Right.
so
And a daughter,
thankful for that. I was so
daughter who
thankful
wants
for
to go with her to learn medicine, which
Like
is
a mother,
awesome.
like
Right.
daughter.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
really
Good.
sweet.
It was beautiful, and they were gonna go visit John's grave, which was also
Right.
beautiful.
Oh my
and we got to see
God.
the pistols.
The smile that she gives right after she says there's somebody at the cabin I haven't seen in a while. I mean that hit me in the gut. I was like, oh God. The guns did. When she brought the guns out, I was like, oh
Now,
God.
I don't know if you
Well, and
caught
I
this.
love that she did the little gentle ear like tuck
Yeah.
with Dove's hair as she spoke to her, and that like it was kind of a way to be like, if you're not getting this, get it now through this moment, this touching moment. Get it now. This is the daughter that she gets to have now. This is this moment of intimacy that she's missed for so many years.
And we got a little of that in Sanctuary too. Like, okay, yes, you went through all that pain, but here you come out the other side with this family, right?
Mhm.
And there's
But
a
see that, and it also upsets me that they're splitting up from Sherry and Dwight. Like I thought they were
know.
going to be a family. Why did they all
I
split
know.
up?
well, it's like nothing's forever too. No time will tell. Whatever.
He just said in that episode we're a family. It wasn't even like it was that
No,
same episode.
But I think
I
that
thought
comes.
Dave meant like maybe June's not going to stay there forever.
No,
They're
and
going to
she
visit
sort of
John.
said
I
as
mean,
much.
geography means nothing on this show, so they can just close their eyes and
This
will.
show is over now. Be more
I
respectful.
also don't know why they're going back to the sanctuary since it collapsed 2 episodes ago.
That was kind of
And
interesting.
and the whole
Yeah.
thing is like the sanctuary didn't work because they couldn't grow anything there. So why are you going to some
Well,
place
he
where
doesn't
nothing
know
grows
that.
They don't
and it's
know that.
collapsed?
He doesn't
And
know that.
are you
They-
gonna
They don't know
are
that.
you gonna live in the furnaces? I mean,
Yeah.
like what's up with that?
That's
Is
very
that
safe.
Well, he does mention the streets are still intact, so they could. It could be like a
I'm just saying, go
Woodbury
find
type
a farm.
situation.
Like, go find a farm, okay?
I agree, but they don't know that
They'll
they
figure.
don't know that they weren't able.
You know
to
what?
grow
And this is
anything. And
my
it's been
point.
It's been years since even our people have been at
Sheridan, can you
sanctuary.
lower
So
your
who
mic just a bit?
knows?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, it's okay.
So who knows in terms of like soil conditions, even what it would be
Well,
like
I'm
now.
sure it's not much better. It's still packed down.
That was a
burn. I
lot
don't
of
think
slash
you-
and burn.
I don't.
farming
Yeah, I
over
don't. I
there.
still don't think it can grow. My whole point is, you just said it collapsed 2 episodes ago, and now you're going back and like go find a farm somewhere where you can grow things and have another baby and be happy, and you can have finches there or something, like whatever. But don't go back to the sanctuary. That's the worst place in the world to go to,
Well,
in
going
my opinion. But sending it back to the sanctuary does put them in the vicinity of Alexandria, and that's why I think that it was Dwight that Carol was talking about on the radio.
Ba-doom on The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon near the end, apparently. But no, yeah, to go back to your point though, nothing is forever, and even family in the pre-apocalypse world, even though you move away, you still love each other and trust in your relationship enough to know that when we see each other again, we will still regard each other as family. So I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad. And it goes to like the point of, okay, they're going to go off and help people and they're going to go off to help more people. It's all about, this moment is all about going out into the world and helping more people. I'm not mad at that at all. And who might they bring back in the TWDU future? Who knows? But like you said,
Well, I mean, I'm sending that spin-off idea to Mikey later. Who knows? It may work.
could, it might.
I do hope we get to see some of these faces again. There's been some theories online now that because the show ended, we're never going to get to see Morgan again, which doesn't really make sense to me because he left to go find Rick. So I feel like he probably will show up at some point down the line.
Maybe on the ones who
But-
live.
I guess that's
Yeah.
up to Lenny.
Not confirmed,
But
but
Lenny has said, Lenny did vocalize that unless it fits with his character and he feels really good about it, he will not come back. And I think maybe that has something to
Right.
do kind of with how this stint on Fear went.
that's speculation. Okay, so
That is speculation
you
on
might
my
be-
end
but you might be right.
completely. But I just think as someone who is he is a trained actor, he's done this for a number of years. I think you come into something really excited to bring back your character and you're like, this is going to go really well, and then your character changes so drastically in ways that maybe don't really make sense.
But I think even he enjoyed the idea of going back and ending.
think you wanna
Walk with
try something
Dwayne and
different.
All I
think
see
now
is
that
red.
he's-
He was totally
Now
psyched
that
about
you're
that.
away from it, though, I think it's easier to say, you know what, that character is me. I am that character. It's a huge part of me. I'm only going to come back if it's really good. And I think that that's fair to say. And it's the same thing Andrew Lincoln said. They hammered out that script like how many times because
Yeah.
he was like,
Everybody's
"No,
an
thanks.
executive
Not unless it's
producer."
really good.
Anyway, but no, going to your point though, and that's the fear of every actor, but especially British actors, because typically their series don't last many seasons. They kind of keep it tight. They keep everything that needs to
2
be said and
seasons.
done perfect, and then they go out with a bang. They say, okay, that's it. This is all it was. And so to drag a British actor through season upon season, especially Andrew Lincoln, it's a slog, and it's like, okay, what do we, kind of like what Troy says at the end of Anton, what are we even fighting for? what
And
are we doing
we've
out here?
said it. We've said it before. How physically
Demanding, yeah.
grueling filming a show like The Walking Dead or Fear the Walking Dead is. I mean, just crawling through the mud and just they film long, hard, grueling days of running through the woods and walking.
Carrying
They-
heavy
I mean, it's-
guns up and down the
Right,
hill.
carrying. It's got to
Mhm.
be. Yep. Thank you for that. Shout out to Peggy. So
Yeah,
it's got. I mean, after 9 years of that, you're probably tired.
more even
Yeah.
at this point. Yeah.
Well, they talked about those cooling suits that they wear, but you wear it for like a little bit and then you have to pull it off. You're immediately sweaty again. So
Mhm.
what's even the point of it?
It's like
Um,
having an AC with a bad condenser. The air is all like
yeah,
it's
it's
wet
just
and
like
stuff.
it's exhausting.
I mean, it does the job,
And
but it really doesn't.
this is just coming from me living my life in the South and
Ow.
wearing just regular clothes, not costuming.
This
Right?
is my waking
Not
life in
leather.
winter.
Oh my gosh. Like Negan wearing that leather jacket all the time, that had
Ugh.
got to be awful. Even though,
Ugh.
Rachel, you and I talked a lot about like what leather is what you should wear because it's extremely hard to bite through, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
it's going to
Mhm.
be very
Mhm.
hard for a walker to bite through leather, but it's also hard to survive in Georgia in summer wearing leather. So it's
It's
kind of
like
a
give and
trade-off
take.
there.
Yeah.
And a neckerchief. Like the
Yeah.
man wasn't covered enough.
And he's like, he could not wait to get rid of that. Okay, we did the first few episodes. Now I can get rid of it. Okay.
Get rid of this
Oh, okay. I have to
neckerchief.
shave in this scene. Okay, I'll wear it, I guess. But
Like
no,
we were like women, we understand it's hot, but you got no sleeves on. Like you are just asking for a bite.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
put something on your arms. Like I understand it's hot, but please put something on your
and on the
arms.
reverse, do you remember? Do
Tie your hair up.
you remember the storm?
Yeah, put your hair up.
The season finale of season 9. It's like, okay, they're in winter, but they don't know how to close their jackets in this howling
Mhm.
Nobody's wearing a
bomb
hat.
cyclone.
To be
Exactly.
fair, it is the South, Dave. We don't know how
No,
to
it's
close our
Virginia.
jackets.
It's
That's
freezing.
that's the freeze. That's the free. No, wait, that's Virginia. That's right. Never mind. I was gonna say that's where
Yeah.
Troy's walkers were frozen,
Yeah, some
but
people say
that's a
it's like
different
way
state. So
colder.
of course they can teleport. So who knows?
Yes, they can. It's who's doing the, and
Have you
who's doing the
what?
teleporting? It's
The
Tobias.
telepoing.
Telepointing.
Oh,
Oh,
what
That's what I
is
said.
Tobias
Teleporting.
didn't
Tobias?
come back,
Speaking
guys. I'm
of
disappointed.
speaking of Tobias, let's talk about the
No.
title card.
No.
Let's talk about the title card.
All right, lay it on me because I didn't watch it again.
Okay,
so I
no,
don't
because
even know who's on
Sharon,
it.
Sharon and I had a discussion beforehand, and we were looking at all the people that were in the title sequence. Rachel just got really in close, and I felt I have like visual.
I-
Anyway,
I'm so focused on you guys, I forget that like I'm down here and I don't see myself.
It's like Rachel's like.
Sorry.
Anyway, sorry.
It's weird being on my phone. I'm
No,
not
it's
used
okay.
to that.
No, you're doing pretty well. You're doing pretty well. So no, we were looking at the title sequence. The second one, obviously, because by the way, when you're watching it live on TV, they only had the one title sequence, and it's obviously the banger one with all the characters, or the major characters, the major protagonists, essentially. And those who watch it on AMC Plus got to see the Troy one.
Troy.
In this, right? I thought it was interesting that they kind of packaged these episodes as a single episode, which is fine with me. But when we saw that title sequence, I went crazy, and but there are some on there that I can't figure out. I can't figure out who some of these characters are, and there's one off.
I gotta
the, you know what? Let me show it on the screen right now because
So-
I have it ready.
so
Okay,
they're-
please,
they're
please do. I
placed-
didn't get a good look at it.
They're
Oh
placed.
man,
I feel like
I'm gonna
they're-
have to get
the
really close to the
characters are
screen again.
Maybe we'll
Placed
see.
in proximity to their importance to Madison, right?
So let
And obviously, Nick
see.
and
That's the thing. I
Alicia-
don't agree with that. I don't think
Nick
that's
and
really
Alicia
it.
are in the front, and Al is off to the side. And I
Al?
was like, why?
Oh, it blipped.
Owl.
is- Why is Al? Why is Al? What interaction do they have? And then I remembered Al is who started Madison on the whole "no one's gone until they're gone," saving everybody thing. When Madison tried to steal Swati from her, and
Sure.
in the first half of season 4,
Al is closer to her than Travis.
Al is the reason she started the.
No one's
whole,
gone till they're gone.
No one's gone till till
Yeah.
they're gone.
I know.
And that is also why I got really mad when she did not acknowledge Swati. When she climbed into Swati, she did not acknowledge that she was trying to steal Swati when she met Al. That's how she met her.
Yeah.
And that was when Al helped her. And that started everything. So I'm very angry that she didn't acknowledge Swati at all. She just like, okay, let me go kill Troy and you. That's
You know,
it.
I'm not bothered by this because it's obvious why she
I
didn't
am.
acknowledge it. Daniel didn't acknowledge wanting to absolutely kill Troy against all the growth that he had. And Rachel, you look like you're having a lot of trouble. But
my
Can you
screen
move over to the right? I want to see
can't
what's on
see
the
all
right
of it.
also.
oh no, we'll get
Yeah.
there. Okay, so
Okay.
let's go from left to right. Okay, because you have Charlie
Okay.
here.
Okay.
And
Charlie, yeah.
this one
Okay.
looks like another Alicia.
Yeah.
It does when she used
Could
to
it
wear
be Sherry?
that high half pony.
Mm-hmm. This looks like Victor.
That's Victor.
Okay.
Yeah, that's Victor.
This is June, by the way.
That's June's hair.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's the sad hair.
Next looks like Dwight.
This is Dwight and Sherry.
Okay,
Right.
sure.
And then here's another Alicia. I'm kidding. I don't know who that is.
Directly next to June to me looks like Dwight.
That's Dwight.
And
I
Sherry
said
on
that.
the other side.
Sherry's on the other side. Then there's Karen David as Grace. But who's
Okay.
this? Is this another Alicia? Is this trash bag Alicia?
Trash bag Alicia.
Maybe
Why
it's one.
would there be so many Alicias? That doesn't make any sense.
Hold on. I don't know.
She's
but-
been 16 different somebodies.
That
Yeah,
doesn't make
there you
any
go.
sense.
There you go. See,
Is that
okay.
Isabel
Wait,
next to her? That's Isabel. Why
Where
am I
is
pointing
Isabel?
at the screen?
Well,
like
wait,
you can see?
wait.
This
One
is
of
Sher-
these has to be Ophelia.
Okay, so then this is
All
Ophelia.
these extra women. That could be Ophelia.
That
'cause
looks
she-
like it'd be Ophelia.
Remember she had the braid in season 3
She had the plait.
when she was with Taka's people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's okay. I can dig it. So
That
then
might
who's,
be Ophelia.
So then who's this?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Do you see the square on my screen?
All right, I'm trying to run through the seasons.
Hold on. I can do this actually. This will make it a little easier. Oh no, that's gonna. Well, that doesn't matter. I don't know. What can I move it still? Oops. Oops. No. Sorry.
Okay.
Big mistake. Big mistake. Okay, so this is Ophelia. So figure that out. Dwight, Sherry. Okay, this.
Also could be Luciana.
Nope. I'll show you why.
Okay.
So,
Okay. She's on
obviously,
the other side.
this is
All
Cliff
right.
Curtis. This is Travis.
That's Travis. Yeah.
This is
Al.
Owl. This is
Owl.
Alicia with her bony arm right here.
Okay.
Okay. Obviously Madison. Obviously
So we
Nick.
got Nick,
Okay, let me
Nick.
go here.
Morgan.
Chris.
Oh, I didn't even see Morgan. Oh my
Oh
god.
yeah, it's
Morgan.
Chris.
That's from his
Okay.
title card, and all I see
Uh-huh.
is red. Okay.
And then that's Lucy
Morgan,
next
Chris.
to Chris.
And that's Lucy.
Okay.
There's
Okay.
Lucy. Yeah.
Now we've got
And
Wendell and Sarah.
Wendell.
and Sarah.
Wendell and Sarah.
I know. I'm sorry. I live near a town named Wendell. That's why I said it like that.
No, that's fine. John from his
Wait.
title card from his death episode. John Dory Sr. John Dory Jr., John Dory Sr.
Junior and then senior.
Now this. Who's this?
I can't see. I have to move my own face.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay. Keep going.
This is it. So who's this?
Okay.
Okay. Let's put that
Hmm.
aside. Daniel and skid mark maybe on
Daniel.
his neck. I don't
Yeah,
know. Or it's a
that's
scarf
Daniel.
thing.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. And then there's Tobias.
Yep.
Because we have no
Tobias.
idea who this
That's
could
not
be.
Tobias.
This is Tobias. Tobias lost a ton of weight, and he's also an alien because he
It's
has
an
no
apocalypse,
facial
man.
features.
Could the female figure in the far back, could that be Gloria?
Gloria.
Nick's
doctor?
girlfriend.
Who like
Nick's girlfriend at the
started
beginning.
this?
I would
She's
think
not
on the
that-
left-hand side that could maybe have been her. That woman in the back on the left-hand
This here,
side.
that could okay. I could dig that. The Gloria.
Could be. That one kind of looks like she has a jacket on.
Yeah.
The one on the other side looks more like her shoulders are a little more prominent. Yeah.
Do you think any of this could
Is
be?
that the word I'm looking for?
See, Ginny would have had a hat for sure, so it can't be Ginny.
Oh, yeah, okay.
right.
But it's all right. Let me think. So there.
And these are
Wait. Go back over to the right. Go back over to the right.
These
Is
are
that
only people
Taka
that
all the way on the right?
So is that Taka though?
That could be. It could be.
It looks like a mannequin. Or it could be Raleigh, right? I'd buy Raleigh over.
But that doesn't make any sense because he didn't have any relationship to Madison.
Yeah, but
I
neither
don't
did Wendell
regard
and
that as
Sarah.
I don't.
Oh yeah, Eliza. Maybe one of them could be a
So could this be
Yeah.
Eliza? That could be Eliza.
that could be Eliza.
I
It
can
could
buy-
be.
I can
It
buy
could
that.
be.
Yeah,
So now,
Actually, she wore a denim jacket in the first season.
could have been
so
her.
it could
the
be
other-
her on the left.
Yeah.
so wait, her?
Mm-hmm.
This
Yeah.
one has long hair. I don't think Eliza had long hair, right?
She did. It was back in a
Yeah, it was
ponytail
long.
for a fair amount of the season, but she
Mhm.
did have long hair.
I want one of these to be.
I keep wanting to call her Aleda.
Wait, which one's Elena again?
So none
Oh.
of these are Griselda.
From.
None of these are Griselda.
Oh, wait, what if that's actually Griselda? That makes sense.
Oh.
The long hair, she's shorter, ish.
I don't think she's wide enough, and I don't mean that to sound
You
as
do.
mean as
It's
it came
fine.
out.
You're cool. I don't know. I thought one of these was Janice too, but
You know what? That's Tess back there. Peggy, that's you.
Yeah, that's Tess.
we're deciding that's Tess,
Good
It's
call. Good
Yes.
call.
and that's Ranger Samuels.
We
Okay,
found her. Yeah.
and this is Tobias, guys. This is Tobias.
Okay,
That's
I'm just,
over to the
I'm
right.
just trying
That's
to run
Ranger
through the
Hill.
characters that she interacted
No, Hill was a bad guy.
with. So
No, I mean,
is that
what?
yeah? We don't have Troy on here. We don't have any of the Otto family on here.
I thought for a second Troy was this until it was
Wait,
Peggy
wait,
says
wait.
she'll take
Go-
it.
Was that
who's what where.
who? Go back to the right side.
Luciana.
Was that who's else is with the hat? Is that supposed to be Senior?
That's Senior.
Senior.
John
Junior,
Junior, and John
Senior.
Senior.
Madison never knew Senior.
Right,
Which
that's
doesn't
what I'm
make
trying
any
to.
sense
She
This is
either.
what I've been
She
trying to
didn't know
say.
Sarah and Wendell either.
That's what I'm trying to say. Why
Yeah.
is this all Madison for? It's not. These are all the this
Okay.
is the main characters on the show, or the main protagonists on the show.
So
So this
Okay.
could be a later.
Where's Martha?
is that
Where's
wait, is that one of
Martha?
the one of the kids?
what
Is
do you
it
mean, like
is it Annie?
Is it Annie?
Annie?
No, Annie had
would
much
be in a
wilder hair.
She would also be in a cap, I think, a baseball cap, maybe.
No, she had like a
Mhm.
little
Trucker
She had a
hat.
stock.
Well, then maybe that's
Yeah.
Oh,
Annie
yeah,
on the
yeah.
left.
You mean like this?
Yeah.
No, that's definitely Tess.
That's
Definitely
Tess.
Tess.
We already called it. Okay, so this is Aleda. Okay, so forget about everybody else. Alien Tobias. It's Alien Tobias. This is why it's it.
Oh,
It's
Takira
Annie.
said here's
Tobias.
the list.
Okay.
What?
Okay.
There's a actual list.
There's the
Wait a
list.
minute.
Lay
Could
it
this
on
be
us, 'cause I wanna
Jeremiah
see it.
Otto? Wait, that makes sense.
No,
Jeremiah Otto.
I don't know.
The bald head?
I don't know.
I like Tobias.
I hate everything. Wait, what do you mean? Here's the list. Anyway, I'm not gonna look at the list. Headcanons wins. Anyway, and also this is a dead topic of conversation.
Odessa?
Mo,
Oh,
Odessa,
Mo,
Strand,
Odessa.
June, Dwight.
June, Dwight.
Mo. So this is Mo.
Okay, wait, go back.
Oops, I'm sorry.
So that's not Charlie, it's Mo.
No. Charlie's
Where
over
the
here.
Charlie.
This is Charlie.
No,
No, they're
she's
saying
saying
that.
that's
Charlie.
Mo.
That's Mo.
Oh.
Because she's got the
That's Mo.
braid right there.
That's
on the
braid.
side.
That is Mo.
So
The
that's
braid.
Charlie in the back.
This is Charlie.
Maybe
okay.
that's Charlie behind Strand.
She's going in order left to right. Dave, go back over to the
okay.
left. She's going in order.
So this is Mo.
So it's Mo, Odessa,
Oh, so that's
Okay, that
not
makes-
Ophelia.
Odessa, Strand,
Strand, June,
June,
Dwight.
Dwight, Charlie
Charlie.
Okay. I can
with
dig
the
it.
bad wig,
Yep.
Sherry, Grace, Travis, Al.
Yep.
Paul.
Okay,
Alicia.
Alicia, Madison, Nick,
Madison, Nick.
Morgan.
Morgan, Chris,
Lucy.
Lucy,
Yep.
Wendell, Sarah. John, Wendell, Sarah.
John, Wendell, Sarah,
John Sr.
John again.
Here we
Here.
go. Then this
All
is.
right. Who is this one? Drum
I
roll,
know, okay.
please.
I know. Lay it on us. Lay it on us.
We're all like, wait.
We're like, wait. This is the time to like.
Oh, so she gave us
no.
one.
Oh, we know that one. We know that one.
TikTok, my hair hands
Is
show. It's
TikTok,
already
it's hair
late.
o'clock.
Ophelia.
Oh, that's-
Ophelia.
Daniel.
This doesn't look
All
like
right,
Ophelia.
Daniel.
Wes.
Wes.
Wes?
Wes. It is Wes. It is Wes. It is Wes. That makes
Oh.
sense. I can see
Okay.
it. I
That
can
is
see it.
not Wes.
He's got the hoodie on,
Huh?
and his his dreads are pulled back.
Yeah.
Like he wore 'em.
Yep.
Yeah,
Wait,
that is
this
Wes.
is Wes.
Takira, where did you get this list?
Yeah.
This does not look like Wes. No, I mean, let's just agree.
I think it looks like Wes.
This here.
No, I
think
think it
it
looks
could
like
be
Wes. Yeah.
Wes.
It could be.
He had kind of a longer face.
It looks like Strand's mini me. It's like Strand's mini me.
Oh, then that would make sense. I still
Screen
say
Rant. She found the
Screen
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 Rant.
Rant's
Okay,
been
well,
wrong. Okay.
That's hit or miss then.
And they've also been very critical of the series.
That is right though. Mo is right. That
Mo
was a
is,
good
yeah,
call
I
because
Yeah.
see,
of the braid.
I see, because
Yeah.
the braid and
Yep, yep,
everything.
yep.
Okay, I see it. I
The
see it.
braid.
Yeah, it's signature. Like many of our characters, they have differentiations. Fine. Let's move on.
Which is this really just truly a collection of anybody who's been on a title card before? No, 'cause Travis
Mostly.
wouldn't have
Well,
been
but
on
some
that.
of
Yes.
them, yeah,
Yeah,
because like
Travis
some of
had
them
one.
weren't on title cards.
Right.
Did
Unearned.
Lucy ever have one?
Lucy
had
did have
one.
one in this.
She
in
had
this
one
season.
this season. It was
And
this season. Didn't it?
in another season, but I can't remember which. But this was from this season,
No, I thought she only had one.
They only started doing them in
I don't think she had one before.
season 6.
Season
7.
6.
Did they start in
Six.
6? Oh,
Yeah.
6.
Six.
Yeah.
They had the visual
Yeah.
ones in 4 and 5, and then the moving hurricane-y, all that stuff. And
Yeah.
then season 6 is when they
Yeah.
did the kind of like the more illustrative title card
Because
character
it was
focused
more,
ones.
it was more anthology in 6.
Yeah, which matches.
Yeah.
And then in
Yep.
season 7, they got even more improved and 3D-ish and whatnot. So, okay. Anyway, so moving on because people are dropping off, and
Whew.
we don't like that. And the audio podcast is going to be amazing.
I don't love when I can see that. Yeah, exactly. The audio podcast is. Who is that? Who is that? Who is that?
You know what's going to happen? Okay, this will serve. Hey, audio podcast people, if you want to get the idea of what we were talking about without actually explaining it, because it would have been hell on earth anyway, go to the blog. You can see, or we can link to the Screen Rant article in the blog so that you can see the actual title card. Anyway, so there you go. We took care of that. I don't have to do it later now. So that's good. Okay, so I did want to bring up a bigger, deeper thing, which is kind of annoying. And that's, okay. So most people who have watched the show from the very beginning looked at the Madison in season 4 and said, what the F is this? I love how this season said, oh, you are WTFing, so was Madison, and so here's how we're going to fix that. Because yes, she was panicking. Nick had just had a panic attack. He's an agoraphobe now because of the events of the dam, trying to do the same thing that Madison does and risk her life to save everybody. But now the result is that he can't go outside, at least at first. And then later on, he goes outside and kills Ennis. But yeah, season 4 was an aberration for Madison. This was her trying to finally do the thing that most people in the apocalypse do, which is, oh, I'm going to make it right. Right? Wasn't the apocalypse supposed to be your chance to, you know what? I didn't do it right pre-apocalypse, post-apocalypse, like, okay, I'm going to do this right. But every time Madison tried to do it, she made questionable decisions, right? Troy, all that stuff. And this is what led to the dam explosion, is all these bad decisions or trying to make up for bad decisions. And then Nick, just like at the ranch, Nick takes care of Jeremiah Otto. Nick takes care of the dam with the Proctors and all that. And the end result is, okay, Nick dies. Well, actually, the stadium collapses. All the things that she tried to do and do right to make it up for all the bad decisions that she made. Why people might like season 4 if they stopped in season 4 is because like, oh, okay, it's Madison with all the bad decisions I didn't know about at first. Right? So this is like the Sharondy perspective, right? But why, when she comes back, that most people who watch the show can go, oh, okay, it's bad decisions, and then there's more they're even worse than before, because she saw season 4 just like many fans did, and saw, yeah, I was sus then too. I was so sus. I was trying to make up for something, and all it ended up doing was getting my kids killed. And so she went way in the other direction, which I thought was authentic. What do you think about that specifically? Fans seeing season 4 Madison as sus, and so in season 8 they're kind of like, oh, here's why it was sus. She was totally not herself.
In 4?
Yeah.
I personally, my perspective of Madison has been the same. I haven't seen any change in her character whatsoever. If anything, she's more determined by her own decisions and convinced that she's doing the right thing,
In
which
season
has
4?
always throughout the entire series.
Oh, wow.
Anytime we see Madison on screen, she is so convinced of her own decision making and what she thinks is the right way. And that ultimately has been why I don't like her as a character. I think she makes terrible decisions. She can be accountable. She's like, oh yeah, I make terrible decisions. Everybody's better off without me. But then she continues to come back and continues to screw everything up. Like, she should have just stayed dead and then everything would have been fine.
Which, by the way, is funny that that's the end result.
I was gonna say that's exactly what she ends up doing.
Yeah.
Is staying dead.
Because she meant more. Like, right?
Well,
Wasn't the whole
I
purpose
mean,
of her
we
being
have to
in the
assume.
diamond? Like, they go
Yeah.
on doing the right things because she sacrificed herself. And so she ends up doing that at the end.
Yeah,
Right.
except
And then she
didn't-
comes back and
except
she's
she
like,
didn't,
surprise.
unfortunately.
Sorry, say
Right.
that again?
She's like,
Bridget? Or sorry, not Bridget. Sorry, Sharon D.
I said, unfortunately, she never mind. I forgot what I said now.
Well, yeah, right. Because if she came
Oh,
back,
you said she sacrificed herself, and I said, unfortunately, it didn't work. She didn't sacrifice herself.
right.
Well,
Because she came back and continued to screw things up.
but
And
for
she
all
came back
they
for
know,
952
except for Victor,
times.
right? For all they
Like
know.
if she had stayed gone. And yes, we see the series end and she's like, oh, I'm gonna follow my daughter's lead and just stay gone so that my ideals can live on and blah blah blah, which is great, but
isn't
will
that,
she really stay gone?
she probably will, and thankfully for most of you, I think. But I think it brings up a very interesting point that she and Troy, no, she said this to Troy, and I want to kind of pick your brain on it. When she says to him, people like you and me should be erased.
Mm-hmm.
There was something interesting about that. And in a way, she does that by saying, things are better with me, people thinking that I'm dead. Because maybe in a way, I don't have to die in order for that to be the case. Because maybe some of those sour memories are things better left in the grave. So do you agree with her when she says, maybe people like you and me, people who think that ideals should be in the heap, right? Basically, these no one's gone till they're gone. That should go away. People like us who believe in pragmatism, we should go away. And maybe it's because I feel like that's something that Charity, thing that you really don't like in this episode, besides Madison as a person, are people who refuse to help, right, when they can and they have the ability to.
Well, what made me angry was choosing a selfish want that is ultimately going to be fruitless as far as they know, right? Because everybody says she's dead. So she even says, I'm going to find my dead daughter. So she's, instead of helping her friends who need help, she's going off to do something that is ultimately going to be a fruitless journey.
Right,
And
like
so
it's the
instead of
biggest
helping,
maybe.
right? So you have friends that need help, and this might be something. And she made the wrong decision again.
Right, and the reason for that is because she's like, yeah, believing in something gets people killed. So I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to believe that I can help you and save Padre and these big ideals about Padre. But that also brings, this also brings up a bigger point, which is, okay, think about all the times you've said that's BS, right? We shouldn't be doing this. In a way, Madison is a little bit like the audience when they're looking at post-apocalypse, post-zombie horror, right? Madison is the audience saying, I'm not falling for this. Do good stuff, because people who do good stuff get killed in the zombie apocalypse. Okay, let's be more specific. Rachel, do you remember the conversation that we had with Ben way back? And when we were talking about cyclical violence, and I was like, well, the lesson that we learned from Rick and Negan and All Out War was that, okay, if we keep trying to kill each other, one of us is going to win. And you're like, yeah, you got to kill them before they kill you. I'm like, well, that's no, you're like, no, that's not how it works. That's why it stopped, is because they stopped doing I'm going to kill them before. So to your, this episode kind of, in a weird trolly way, does the thing where like, okay, Madison is you. Madison is all of you. All of you have ever watched a zombie apocalypse show and go, ugh, why are they trying to? Because there are fans of the show that are going, why are they trying to help people in seasons 4, 5, and 6? And why? It's just so, why? And Madison's like, yeah, I'm all about not helping people anymore because my daughter and son are killed and dead. And I'm going to teach
but
this
the
grandkid to not
liking-
help people either.
The helping people was what I liked about
I
4
know.
and 5.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
Because we want to see the best version of ourselves eventually on shows. But like in zombie horror, it's tricky, right? Because you're butting heads with, oh, I want to see my idealized self, but you're also kind of like, but I wouldn't do it like that. I would have like sticks that point at people, and I don't care if people get killed as long as I don't get killed. As long as I have all the foods.
I mean, I'd like to think that I wouldn't be running around just killing everything that got in my way.
I feel like I need
Like
to
you can
play a
help
clip of you
people.
saying that on the show.
Not like
No, like you said, everyone.
everything, but like the bad guys, yes. Like you can
Who's the
help
bad
people
guys?
and still be cautious. Well, people who
I mean,
who attack me and my people.
But even
That's
people
it.
that you
have to find a
suspect.
balance. You have to find a
No,
balance.
it's not with
between
Rachel. It's okay. You got to kill
protection.
them before they kill you.
If I knew there was like bad people out there killing people, then I would
Probably
would
kill
want to
them
wipe
too.
them out. But there's probably other people who just need community, who need a place to be, that are not going to
I mean,
kill my people, but come be part of my group. There's strength
but
in
our
numbers.
group,
You got to have people.
our group in The Walking Dead did just go out and kill people.
The-
I mean,
it-
they went to the
satellite station.
outpost of the sanctuary and just wiped people out that they didn't know or have anything to do with. They were
Yep.
going on somebody else's word, and our group did that, and everybody pulled for them, right? Oh yeah, they were It's all perspective. Everything is
And
perspective.
we paid for it in a big way.
And there was a lesson to be learned too, right? It's like, and it's not, that lesson isn't always going to be consistent, because sometimes you are damned if you do and damned if you don't. You're talking about people who are put under extraordinary, even the people on Fear, put through extraordinary circumstances, through tremendous, like, okay, say what you will about any character on Fear the Walking Dead. They're put through tremendous grief. And then we're sitting here expecting them to do everything perfectly, which is why when we see Daniel, Bloodlust Daniel, I was like, okay, I don't like it. I don't like it at all from a human perspective. I don't like Bloodlust Madison. I don't like it at all. I don't like that Victor and June fought in the last episode. Well, the one, you know what I'm saying. Keeping her alive. But there is authenticity to that. I mean, when I keep thinking about, okay, I have this thought before we got on here today as I was getting notes. And this really makes me sad, very sad, because this is real life. I know people on my wife's side, who, one of whom is passed. Her aunt passed a long time ago. Her name is Suzette Lanyadoo. She wrote a book called "The Man in the White Shark Skin Suit," about her family in Egypt and coming to the States as immigrants and stuff. Whatever. She passed. Now, she and her brother, for the longest time, not Evelyn's father, but her uncle, for the longest time, 15 years, stopped talking. And not because of, I mean, yes, but because of grief and how they process grief. And on my, you know what? Let's speak about myself. I have an uncle who we don't talk to because of something, partly because of financial stuff, but also because of shenanigans across time. Like, one of the kids of my cousin, said something the wrong way, and her father didn't like it. And they had this fight, and they stopped talking for 5 years until my mom brought them to the table and started talking again. Now, how many people do you know where that's the case? And so we're looking at these people undergoing way more tremendous loss in a scarcity universe under tremendous conditions. And we're like, yeah, but Daniel wouldn't do that. He learned from a thing a long time ago. And I'm like, yes, I understand. But to me, what's compelling is that, oh, that's like my uncle, or oh, that's like, and and I don't expect any different from him. Like I see it, it makes me sad. It breaks my heart, but I can see that, and I think that's what I really, really liked about. I don't like that it's happening, but I like that it also is playing like a riff on what other characters are doing. Daniel kind of looking at Madison saying, "We're not letting this guy live, right? We hate this guy." Right? And so, but that's real though. That's real. And so I don't like it. I hate it for him. I hate that for him. But it's real. So I don't know. Do you guys have any thoughts on that? Or do you have experiences like that? Do you know people in your life or in your lives that have these feuds? You know, and that it's totally not reasonable. It's terrible. As a kid, I hated it. I'm like, why are we even doing
Actually,
this? Life is so short.
Dennis and a friend of his who hadn't spoken since before I met Dennis, which was 17 years ago. They were really good friends, and they had a falling out over a chainsaw, and they hadn't spoken to each other in like 25 years.
Doesn't that break your heart?
And Wayne's wife passed away a couple weeks ago, and he called Dennis and said, "Life is too short, and I want to, fix this. We should be friends." So they've been hanging out since then. So it did,
Aw.
it is out there. It does happen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's sad that it take and you know, most often the case, it's sad that a death brings people together. It has, in some instances, it has to take a death of somebody close to them to do that.
Back in like 2015, maybe 2014, 2015, I made two New Year's resolutions back to back that resulted in like probably some of the most exhausting, like emotionally exhausting and physically exhausting things I ever did. One year I just said that I would say yes to just everything. Just too tired to go out. Did you want to go out? Yes. And I did that for a year, and I have great stories from it, but it was super exhausting. But during that time period, I don't remember if it was the same year or another year, but I also said that I would let go of any grudges that I held. And I reconnected with a friend who I had kind of written off, and we became so close during the next couple years of that. We're not anymore now because I live here, and it's hard when you live across the country from people, but
Right, June and Sherry and Dwight? Okay. Sorry.
and I wouldn't give
I
that
know.
away for anything. I'm so thankful that I did that. So I just think it's, and again, and I didn't talk to my dad for 11 years, and then we reconnected, and there's a lot that comes into play. So I think chalking it up to like sometimes you're overreacting or whatever, or life's too short, so just get over it. I think you can't really chalk it up to that.
Right,
You
right, right.
can't.
It is
There's
a
a
shame
lot of
though.
stuff at play when that comes up. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's nice when it happens. It's nice when the reconnect happens. It's not going to happen for everybody.
Right.
And
Takira's
whoever
spitting
it
some
doesn't
real
happen
truth.
for has to work through that on their own,
Yeah, and
you
Takira's
know?
spitting some real truth. I know some of this stuff. She talks about some of that stuff on her TikTok and stuff. And so
Yeah.
when you have those really real situations, and yeah, it gets close to the level of Daniel and having to face his daughter's killer, essentially. It's like we're expecting him to retain all the things that he learned and grew over the years. Like, no, some people backslide and they backslide hard. Think about drug addicts. I mean, it's like you always have to stay vigilant. I mean, yes, every day's a gift and every one day at a time, but then if they choose not to go back and maintain their sobriety, if they're that hard up, then yeah,
Daniel's
they fall
perspective
apart.
Daniel's perspective towards Troy completely makes sense to me. I wasn't shocked by that position at all. What shocked me more was the scene with Tracy, where he was okay with, taking this rage out on Troy's daughter. Like that was more shocking to me. But yeah, I mean, somebody hurts my kid, set him on fire, you know?
Right, right. And don't look back, right? The Carol with the matches and the Saviors of Reindeers in season 9. By the way,
Yeah.
G. Wilson, hey. Oh, it's okay, G.
Hi.
Wilson.
Hey.
You should definitely watch the replay because there's a special someone at the
There's
top of the
something
show
special at the beginning.
who completely
Um,
Yeah.
derailed our show with compliments to us. And I won't say
I
who
wanna
it
I
is.
wanna correct the record really quickly.
Mhm.
I was just looking for that article to send it to you
Mhm.
with Daniel Sharman. That must not have been real. I must have been punked on TikTok by someone because I
Oh,
can't find
dang.
it anywhere.
It sounded like something that somebody.
So
Oh,
someone must
Daniel.
have made something up,
Which okay? Do you want to talk about
which
this?
is fine.
Okay, the same thing was said about. Oh, oh, Alicia must hate this show, and she like no, literally she said the opposite. Alicia, oh, she couldn't wait to get off the show. Like no,
Yeah.
she loves the show so much that she wanted to direct it. She, if not, she would have been like, okay, phone it in, go home, whatever. No, she wanted
She
to
loved
direct.
it, and it helped.
Who
It
asks
helped
for
her.
that?
It helped her to get where she is. I mean, like, I just even if what you work on is like total crap, right? Like as an actor, like even if what you work on is total crap, that's not what I'm saying this is, but
I
even if you were to work on a show that's just total crap, if it consumes several years of your life and you're interacting with all of these people around you, you're creating all these connections with all these people, it doesn't matter. It's like when you work a crappy job, it doesn't matter. The connections are still real. Your time there was still real. It was still time well spent if you took something out of it.
and you put something into it. I mean, let's be
So,
fair. Like if you
yeah.
brought it
Mhm.
every single time you worked, maybe not every single time, but every single time you came into work, you tried to make it the best you that you're trying to portray, right?
Yeah.
Then what did you lose, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think so.
Anyway, so I apologize for that. I apologize for misquoting something
No,
and
but
saying
what's
that
great
was real
about
and
it?
it wasn't real.
What's great about what you just did is
Edit that out.
no, I'm not because you brought something in that most people it's like the wiki again. It's like you brought something in that most people say, "Oh, that's true. That's about Sarah and Wendell dying of starvation. That's true." Like, but nobody said that on the show. Daniel Sharman didn't say that, apparently.
I guess not. Yeah.
So-
If he did, I can't find it. There
I'll look
are
for
a
it,
lot of people on
but-
Twitter saying the same thing, that he was extremely disrespected
That's what I'm
through
saying.
this.
Anyway.
But like that must have been where it came from. So I apologize for that. Maybe he does feel that way. I have no idea. But either way, he still got an experience out of it, and I doubt that he would come out of it saying,
Guys,
I mean, you still want to promote your own work, right? Like you worked hard on it.
yeah, oh yeah.
And he did great.
And you
he
still
did a
did
great
amazing.
job.
and you still want a profession after this too. Anyway.
Well, that too. Like, if you, what,
Exactly.
you're gonna burn all your bridges? Nobody's gonna hire you.
No, you want to be the best version of you that you can bring. To
I mean,
to whatever vision that they wanted to bring to it. But
Phil
yeah.
said that in the interview with Phil. He said, if you want to work on a set, don't be a jerk.
And don't
Because
try
people
to
don't want to work with jerks.
and
Well,
be
that's exactly
collaborative.
what Mikey said. Burn down those egos. Get rid of those egos. Because you
Right.
can't, like, you can't work together if that's what it's gonna be like. If your opinion's the only one that matters.
Because
it's
you're
not gonna work.
holding a baby. You're holding a baby. You have to be gentle with it. Everybody has to take a turn taking care of the baby. Somebody changes the diapers. Somebody feeds the baby. Somebody gives it a bath. Somebody reads it bedtime stories. But if somebody's going to go off the reservation, and is that something that people say anymore? I don't know. But let me edit that out.
I don't know that is appropriate anymore.
But I'm sorry.
Hmm.
I also sit Indian style sometimes.
Somebody steals the baby from its parents and takes it to Padre.
Yeah, exactly. But if they go lone wolf, and anyway, but you get what I'm saying. Like if you overfeed the baby, or if you're like, no, you should parent like this. No, you should. No, I take cues from the mom or the director in this case. Oh, I take cues from this person. Like, okay, so I'm limited to just the diaper changing. Okay, but you be the best damn diaper changer ever. So, but no, let me read what G. Wilson says, because I think G. Wilson's is actually Michael Satrazemis, because she, I don't remember if we got his. Anyway, G. Wilson says, I don't know. I forgot. It kind of occurred to me. I know this show gets a lot of flack or whatever, but the actors generally enjoy being in each other's company to the point where I get happy watching them enjoy themselves. Big example, Coleman Domingos directed 3 episodes and was a producer in the past season, right? Where he got to write his own ending, essentially. And Tia says she spent a lot of time being Alicia Clark, and so you know that person being in that person's skin. It's like, why wouldn't you want to elevate that version that you're putting on to the best you can? You know, why would you? And yeah, like we were saying before, of course it's a slog. It's a lot. And you may want to leave because it's a lot. And maybe you want to do other things. Totally valid. But you still liked your time there. Maybe it was too much. Maybe you wanted to go. Okay, see, I had a feeling. I knew G. Wilson's. I knew you were of the female persuasion, right?
I had that feeling too, but then I was like, maybe I shouldn't make that assumption out loud.
I just for a moment you get that feeling that maybe not.
Yeah, that's happened before where I'm like,
yeah.
Oh no, I just said him, and maybe it's not. That person's not a him, and then I just did that. It's like a whole thing.
I think G. Wilson's. You refer to G. Wilson's as a G. Wilson.
Oh, Peggy.
We love you, Peggy.
Thank you, Peggy.
Peggy
for being
says,
"You're so sweet."
I have to say it. Peggy says, "Love listening in while I edited and uploaded an audition. Have to go now. Love y'all."
Oh,
Hey,
love
Appreciate
you.
you being here. Yeah.
Don't be a stranger. Come stop by. We'll cover other stuff.
That's right.
And we're all looking for Tess in the spin-offs.
It might take me a while.
Peggy was Rachel and I's first interview when we started doing
Yep.
interviews together.
Why do you sound so?
Why are you
Hold
so
on. Why do you sound so
quiet?
low? Is it because?
Right, because I had my stupid thing moved down.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, Peggy, thank you because you helped Rachel
Yes.
and I a lot being our first. You kind of babied us through it, and we had nerves and all that, and you put us at ease. And I just want to say thank you. And you always participate with us, and you get in on our stuff. So thank you so much. Love you.
Thank
Hope you
you.
have a
Love
happy
you.
Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Mwah.
And happy the holidays. Merry Christmas. I know you spelled it Christmas. So take care. In case we don't see each other sooner. Dramatic.
Dave really has a good knack of like, just being like, no, you're doing this interview now.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're nervous or upset or you've never interviewed anybody. You're going to go talk to Alexa Monster.
Oh, Rachel and I, when we did Peggy's, we 3 weeks we prepped for that thing every night. We were like
Oh yeah.
practicing and
That's
We did
going through
practice
the
interviews.
questions.
Yeah.
I
And
had
who's the
2
agent of
minutes.
chaos?
I had 2 minutes.
Do
Well, we had Jenna Fakeman. That was
Yep.
that was
And we had-
Jules.
Do I say it?
Yeah, say it.
Oh, the practice rounds.
Do
Okay.
I say it?
Yeah.
She was Peggy Thought.
Who was Peggy Thought?
Who was Peggy?
That was Jules too.
Oh my
Yeah, it was
goodness.
Jules.
Jules
Oh.
helped us prepare for our interviews, and she would be our mock celebrity, and she would always join our room with like these funny names
That's
depending on
cute.
who we were
Jenna
interviewing. It was like
Fakeman.
a play on who we were interviewing.
Let me just say that again for the people in the back. Peggy's mock character was Peggy Thought. Thot. Should we tell the older people of the audience what a thought is?
No.
No, look it up on Urban Dictionary like everybody else.
Thhot. That hoe over there.
That's hilarious.
Anyway,
David,
do you know why I know that?
just couldn't help yourself.
Can I tell you how I
Peggy
know
also
that?
did Secret Santa with us one year. She also did Secret
Yep.
Santa for us one year.
Was it
She did
one
2
or two?
characters.
Oh,
Yep.
Did she do both years?
She did Carl. I don't think she did last.
I
I don't
think
think
she
she
might
did the
have.
second year. She did the first year. She did Carl and I can't remember who other character was.
Isabel and Al. I think
Isabel?
she did a 2 in 1.
Isabel. Yeah, it was Isabel.
And she got another one
Isabel.
for Al. Remember? Another
Yeah,
walkie,
yeah.
right? Which is really great. It was really cute.
I will have to go around 10-ish, just so you know.
Well, I think we should all go at some point.
It's been a long one.
Sure has.
My butt hurts from sitting for so long.
Our late start was well worth it though.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Dave's gonna live off this high for like a year.
We're all gonna live off the high, but mostly me. But we all.
It's mainly
Yeah.
you and Sharondy. Again, I was just clinging onto your coattails for dear life.
It's like, whoa! It's the Michael Satrazemis
I'm along
sled.
for the ride. I'm part of this. I'm part of this.
It's beginning to look a lot like Satrazemis.
It's like, you guys are all so wonderful and smart. And I'm like, I am. Thank you.
Oh boy.
Merry Christmas, guys. That's what you're getting from me this year.
And a happy Jew year too. That was a couple months ago. That's Rosh Hashanah, y'all. Thought. Anyway.
You know what,
So
Dave?
cringy.
I'm sad. I'm sad that Rabbi
Kessner.
Jacob is gone
Mhm.
because I really enjoyed your talks about
Oh.
Judaism when
Yeah.
as it pertained to the show. I really learned a lot and I really enjoyed that
Yes.
aspect. So thank you for that, Dave, because you
Mhm.
know I'm not a religious person, but I still enjoy
I'm not
learning
either.
things about it. So I really enjoyed learning about that, which I knew nothing about it. So thank you very
I
much
didn't
for
even know
that.
some of the concepts they were even bringing up. That's stuff from the Kabbalah, some people say. So it was kind of cool.
There was it was really cool learning all that stuff. There is one thing, another thing, if that I wanted to talk about in this episode while Bridget is still here.
Wait,
And that
do you know
was
who brought up Ner Tamid just now, like recently? Phil, in his Instagram.
Oh.
He had one slide with a photo of the stained glass in the synagogue. And I was like, dude, that was a
Aw.
seminal moment for us. That was such a great conversation. Sorry. Go ahead to Bridget.
That was awesome.
Hey.
No, I want Bridget to be a part of this conversation before she has to leave. So the scene between Daniel and Strand in the garage, and Daniel quoted a lot of our episodes where we talk specifically about how you hate in others what you hate in yourself. And as soon as as soon as he delivered that line, that was the that was the reaction I knew David had while he was watching this episode. I knew as soon as I heard that line, I went, David shit in his pants right now.
I said, "Oh my God, they're quoting Dave."
Do you know what made that? Do you know what made that way sweeter? Is I tried to say it on the show, and you're like, "I'm not having it. I'm not having it." I'm like, but Daniel has it, or Victor has it, so now you have to like it, right? Okay, fine, go fuck yourselves. Anyway, so
and they brought it up. And they brought it up several times too, and really drilled on it. And I just knew when I heard that line that David was just grinning. His smile was so big he ran out of cheek.
Dave was like the Leonardo DiCaprio meme where he was pointing at it.
By the way, just for the podcast audience, when Rachel said that, I actually ran around the room as best as I could, tethered to my headphones.
Attached, so.
the audio podcast listeners need to know some of these things that I do. They don't see all the hand motions, but they're gonna get this. So, from cheek to cheek.
They heard us. Yeah. They hear us.
It was really scary how, in not just that, how I felt like people were listening, or I don't know, it was really eerie.
Yeah, it was like some of the things that we had aired as grievances, like some of our frustrations were all stated during these two episodes, which was really interesting.
And not just
to see.
us, too.
It was, I mean, everybody. We're always that last line of defense because we're like, no, we love these people. And so we will stand up for everything that they do, even though sometimes it's increasingly frustrating and I'm mad. And, we got a little unhinged at the end here, but I think.
But they did such a good job of trying.
It was nice to hear some of the complaints that we've had aired by our favorite characters.
My God, it's like they heard us a year ahead of time because they filmed this ages ago with Victor talking to Madison. It was like, you're going to go over there where there's a maybe that she's alive. I need you for my family here. It's like, but here's the thing. Okay, guys, think about this for just a sec, and I want you to really absorb this. They knew this was going to happen. They boarded this out, and they wanted you to feel disgust. Maybe not disgust. Okay, I'm defending her now. But they wanted to feel sus about Madison, about why are you so bent on burying Alicia after, first of all, you get a resolution for Nick. That's nice. But like, why are you so obsessed about the dead when they're living here that need your help? And then, of course, she tries, blah, and then gets Charlie killed. And she's like, okay, why am I even bothering? Every time I bother, people get killed, and it makes everything worse, and whatever. But my point is, they planted this seed. This is good writing. This is good writing. They made you feel a certain way about a character that by the time you get to that ultimate conclusion with Victor, okay, there's a payoff. They're showing in big effect how detrimental or how much she even believes not to help. Like how deep in she is about not helping. To the point where Tracy's like, okay, you're the daddy. You're your daddy. And I'm going to kill you so that if someday I meet Alicia, she'll go, yeah, I had to take care of that for you, Mom. Because I don't want, Mom, I don't want you to live in a world where this shit.
Well, I personally loved when Alicia was like, what kid?
I was just like, what?
That was
Never had a
hilarious.
kid.
Also,
Like,
you
this
killed
is
my
your
mom. Am I
baby.
supposed to
And she's
Charlie you
"What
now?"
kid?
Like, am I supposed to?
I want to mention what G Wilson's has said in the chat because
Why not, right?
I need verification on one thing, but wasn't sure if any of you were up to it or not, but would you guys be down to doing an overall series overview for this show before we have to close everything out, which I think could be really interesting. I don't know. We'll have to chat about it. We have some
Charity
time.
would have to go back and watch seasons 1 through 3.
It's not
She
gonna
would.
happen.
You
It's not
gotta.
gonna
True.
happen. It's not
It
gonna
would give you
happen.
so much
True.
more perspective on the Madison we're seeing now.
I would love to do a rewatch of everything now and kind of come
I
back
just-
and talk about
I
it.
cannot imagine watching 3 seasons of Madison. It's not here. There's no way. There's no way I can watch 3 seasons
well,
of her.
it's not.
Here's the thing, though. I don't want to hear the sting.
Oh yeah, you gotta
I
mute it.
mention this
Oh.
regularly, and I
You can
just
fast forward.
You mean the title sequence? Well, it's not even a title.
I
It
just
is
don't wanna
technically
hear
a title
it.
sequence, but it's like, oh, it's
Yeah.
15 seconds, and it's
I
just
don't want to hear it.
I can't even do it. It does
Anyway,
not. Anyway.
okay, here's what I needed some clarification on. Unpopular opinion, but I kind of wish this last season at least
Mention the Abigail.
they mentioned
Oh,
Abigail, the
Thomas
person.
Abigail. Yeah.
Oh, okay, because I was like, who the heck is Abigail?
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. Yeah, they did mention the Abigail the boat, which was, I loved
It's
that.
heartwarming.
I loved it. I loved it.
I didn't want you on my boat.
But then later on, the at the end, he's
Mhm.
like, I'm glad you
Um,
saved me and my family. Oh, you just caught me on a good day. But that says that's. But see, okay, remember what we were saying about economy of words? That phrase alone is pregnant with meaning. I like using that word because it's funny. But
This guy.
Strand saying, first of all, I wasn't the type of person that would help people for helping people's sake. But he says a regular human being would. I wasn't a regular human being. Okay, next part of the sentence. In the same sentence, he says, you just caught me on a good day. Meaning, yeah, I'm lucky because I decided on a whim that it would be beneficial to me to have you on my boat. I was that bad a person. And in effect, going to the overall theme of why it's good to help people, because I decided to help you, I got so much in return. That is, and again, economy of words. You say this one phrase. This is something I've been begging for out of all the ham-handed dialogue. It says so much. It says so much and so little. And it made me
It's
cry.
almost like, why can't they just write that way all the time? But anyway.
But you can tell they
I
spent a
digress.
lot of time on the final moments too.
Well, if Coleman rewrote it, bravo, Coleman. Really and truly.
Can we go on this one thing? Because right before they part, Daniel does something that I didn't expect. He says in German, he says, war is, I hate war. I hate war. I can't, wait, I'm on the wrong thing.
I thought he said like
Didn't
I'm
he say
done
something
with
about
war.
peace?
I thought he
I
said
thought he said
I'm
something
done
about
with war.
peace.
No, he said he said, I'm tired of war. And that was just so, when you look at the first of all, when you look at the last few episodes,
When you look at his character as a whole.
it's exhausting.
Right, his whole story.
It must
whole
have been
life is about war.
exhausting to go back to the way he used to be and then to remember his character. But
Yeah.
then
Yeah, his
Go ahead.
Yeah, because even when he's like in America and the war is over, it's still that personal war. And exactly, it's him fighting against himself.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So I looked that up. I looked up German, and it was "I'm tired of war," and I ran across this podcast, this random podcast that reviewed a book. Okay, so it's Leslie Von Holten on Kansas High Plains Public Radio, so it's HPPR, High Plains Public Radio. She reviews a book by Nora Krug, or Krug, I don't know, and it's a graphic memoir. So there's tons of pictures and etc. And the graphic memoir is called "Belonging: A German Reckons with History and Home." In it, she says I'm quoting it directly now from the podcast. In it, she says the following: Nora Krug is confused by her parents' hard feelings toward their families and their uncritiqued acceptance of the stories about the war that they were told. But I related to her parents. I myself am a daughter of a combat veteran from a different war, and I know that trauma echoes across generations. As the legacy of war has been ever present in my life, it has also made me want to avoid talking about it. I'm tired of war being the way that we mark history. I just thought that was such a, and it's adds a little bit more to like just saying I'm tired of war. No, I'm tired of marking our history by our conflicts and our tragedies.
It's
I'm,
interesting.
can we mark our
that you
history by good times?
right? It's interesting that you mentioned the generational trauma because we just spoke about this on our coverage of Daryl Dixon
Oh yeah.
With his father, and then
his
with
also
his
his grandfather being in the
and his
war.
father. Yes, we just spoke on this literal thing of it transcending
The timing.
time.
It's like we're in season 6, and
it's
The Walking Dead World
incredible.
Beyond is playing back to back to, which is my trauma, but also the show had played into one another. We saw connections.
I'm gonna call it quits, but also I just really feel for Sharondy right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna go in a minute
You
too.
mean
This
Carl?
light is in
Carl
my
Grimes?
eye.
No, my
Yeah,
goodness.
this light is shining bright in my eye, and it's starting to
Why don't you
get
turn it
irritating.
off? Okay, I don't know.
I
It's
haven't.
really dark.
Can you see Sharondy?
I can see her. Yeah, your internet's probably
Oh.
not that great, maybe, or
I
something.
have not been able to see her
Oh
this
yeah,
whole
you
time.
can't see her because you can't see on the. Yep, I know what you're saying. Yep.
Yeah.
She's
No, like
there.
her screen's black.
Oh,
Oh.
When
No,
some
I've been here.
depending on your connection, sometimes
Yeah.
it'll turn
Sometimes
one
you.
person off.
Sometimes you guys go out for
Oh.
me too. I can still hear you talking, but I can't see you.
But everybody
No,
on my
I'm-
screen, thankfully, is shown, so that means everybody else can see you. So anyway, you were gonna say something. Was it Sharondy?
I was.
I thought you were.
I was gonna say something earlier about. I just want to talk about Antonella Rose and how kick-ass she was as Tracy. Like, she
Yeah.
brought it.
Yeah.
She killed it. She was amazing. Tracy, like seriously, after June, Tracy was my favorite character of the second half because she was just such a little spitfire, man. Like, it didn't hurt that she shot Madison in the side, but it's not her fault. She
Yeah.
was
That's
sorry.
shocking.
She tried. She
But
tried.
I really, that little kid brought it. Like, you brought it, Antonella Rose. You
And
were
she's
awesome.
so young too. I mean,
She
like for
is,
all
and-
the crap that we gave everybody on every show about, well, she's really 30, but she's playing 7. She is that young, maybe even
Yeah.
younger.
She's 11.
Oh, you can't even tell.
She's a,
No.
It says it on her. It's
She
on
looks
her.
very young.
Oh, on her Instagram.
It's on her Instagram. Yeah.
Mm.
she did an incredible job. She's very talented for such a young actress. It reminds me a lot of Kaylee Fleming, just the
Oh.
like the caliber of acting in
Right,
someone so
right.
young,
Mhm.
the
Right.
ability to showcase like true emotion in a really wide range of emotion
Holding
in someone who I have assumed has not felt massive trauma in their lives, but is able
I should
to
hope
Take
not.
direction.
to showcase
If-
that is really cool.
And the
if
snot
you
running
can
down the
hold
nose.
your own, if you can hold your own against Coleman Domingo in a scene, then you've
Yeah.
got it, dude.
I
You've got
agree.
it.
I agree.
She was
And
phenomenal.
the part where Strand was talking to her after the collapse. Anyway, the part where Strand was talking to her and he was talking to her about faith, and she leaned forward and said, "My faith," and the way she said it,
In the RV, right?
I was like, "Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, that was awesome!" Just that one line, but the way she expressed it was, oh, awesome. Also, the RV was supposed to be a callback to the JD RV.
Okay, that's what I was gonna
Oh, I love
say. I
that.
wanted that so
I love
badly
that.
to be John Dory Sr. Oh,
Yeah.
John Dory Sr.'s RV.
Yeah, it wasn't though, because that one, the transmission was destroyed in that one. It's still in Texas.
But somebody
The
replaced
vultures
it.
also showed up in RVs.
And coaches and yeah.
Hi, Anissa.
Hi,
Anissa Dobson, I know you. You're the best.
Yeah.
And you take very good videos in Sonoy.
She gives great just information on any location.
Okay. Good thing you finished
Anywhere.
that sentence.
Ever.
Okay.
Dave and I, where our brains went to the same place.
These are horrible people. You're horrible people. You're horrible people, and I'm leaving. That's it. I'm going.
Wait, where are your glasses? The
I didn't wear them today. I wasn't as spicy
Do it
this
for
time
ya.
around.
Right. But you could wear them for flair. You know, it's just like, excuse me, I'm gone. Or you could put them on.
I
You'd be
feel like we could.
you know?
I feel like we could talk about this for hours and hours and hours and hours, and at some point we're just gonna have to say,
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know why we don't
You know-
want this episode to end?
because then it's the
because
end.
it's the end.
But we'll just have to do a retrospective, and then it won't be the end. Boom.
No, I don't have the energy for that.
I do want to say I am sad
Maybe.
because
There's more shows coming
this
up to
is-
cover.
this is ending, and well, this ended, and you know, it's the two big guns in the TWDU are now over.
The Nina and the Pinta, right? Like, and the next is the Santa Maria.
I want to say that I'm sad because we will not have a ton of content in between.
I'm
Now,
relieved.
we're very busy people. We're very busy people, and we're coming up on the holiday season.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's okay. We do have our charity shebang. So at least there's that.
Which we should talk about for a hot sec, because that's
Yes, now that
Yeah.
fear is over, I can turn my attention back to working on the benefit.
Yes.
and I can finally release the top 7 best moments of not is the best moments of fear? Yes. Best moments.
That's
David.
moments, David.
I could release that.
You'll have to watch it to understand exactly why we're
pre-season
mad
8.
about it.
Unfortunately, we recorded that so long ago that it was before I had one of my favorite moments of the show. So I'm gonna have to like make it a.
We might have to do. Yeah, we might have to
Okay,
make a new one.
One last thing, I didn't say anything about this.
Although favorite moments of season 8 actually might be helpful in terms of.
I only have one. It'd be really hard.
Just release it.
No, but I think it's kind of
Anyway.
a nice thing, because then for all the stuff, because we don't normally are so critical, maybe it would be a nice thing to kind of.
I have two. Sorry.
Okay,
I am
keep working
happy
on that
that
list.
decrepit old mummified skid mark came back. I don't care that it was ridiculous or that how would you find this cat in the middle of Texas? I don't care. I do not care.
Skidmark was
you.
a better reunion than Alicia
Yep.
and Madison. Boom.
Okay, I don't agree with that. But thank you for bringing back Skidmark. I'm so thankful.
Yeah,
Okay,
I may or may not have squealed.
I was so happy.
I cut this
and
out of my.
Daniel's face lit up so
Oh,
sweetly.
Daniel, it was like, oh.
But like that disbelief, like, am I going crazy
'Cause
again?
maybe it
Then
wasn't
again.
straight up an orange cat, but it's fine.
When Daniel heard Skidmark's meow, that was me hearing Alicia's voice.
Oh yeah. I'm like, hold on a second. Oh, okay, yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I cut this out of my reaction video because, of course, I say too many things. But I said
No.
on the level of this was on the level of Rufus. I mean, not as I didn't feel as hard because Rufus died. Okay,
Yeah.
but yeah, I was like, they kept their promise, first of all, and second of all, after all, going down this rabbit hole of backsliding and obsessing about his daughter's killer, killer. It was just, and after just having this resolution with Victor,
and just losing Charlie.
Well, yeah, that's what I meant by his daughters is Ophelia and Charlie, and then having this resolution with Victor. isn't that the theme that they've been prepping? Sanctuary was the theme it was like the high note of the theme they were trying to prepare us for when it came to this episode. That's why they were very, listen, as many things as we have criticized them in whatever half of the season, they did a really good job of at least teeing us up in a storyboarding way when it came to just centralized themes that carried over from one episode to the next. What was the thing for Sanctuary? We go through this trauma, this ordeal. We go back to where it started, and we have to fight through it. Because some of our things, some of our ordeals, they're not resolved. There's no closure. But you get to the end of that, and what do you get in return? What do you get for helping people? It comes back, not just materially. You get something by giving. And then Skidmark comes on the scene, and I'm like, Skidmark? And I'm like, wow, they're really carrying this theme across all vectors.
Well, that was Dwight said that in all of season 5. He was like, maybe if I do good with these people, I'll be able to find Sherry because I haven't been able to otherwise. So maybe if I join these people that are doing good, I'll finally be able to find her instead of hooking up with the wrong people like this, like Negan, who cost me Sherry.
And who taught him how to do that, by the way? Just want to say who? Morgan.
John Dory.
Morgan to redirect.
John Dory.
Morgan Jones.
John Dory.
It was John Dory, but
Oh yeah. Initially, I'm sorry. I'm thinking.
like you're wrong.
I'm
but
sorry. No,
okay.
initially, yes, John and June. But then Morgan takes that and goes further and says, "Dude, you got to stop doing this. You have to learn how to redirect."
Because Morgan let John get killed, so he had to do it.
Well, he wasn't dead yet. So he just. Also, remember Morgan and John were best friends, and so of course they play on each other's themes.
I'm sorry. I watched JD today.
He's very salty.
I got really salty about it.
A.G. Wilson's, listen, I'm always outnumbered. Because that's how it works. That's how it works around here. And there's got to be a fall guy. And I'm a guy. And I fall. No, but I think what's really, but I like, we know what's really good about this. Okay. We watched half of a season 4, 5, 6, 7. Madison is stealing babies throughout this whole thing. Had Madison been with these people the whole time, she would have learned all these things. Because some of those things were her things. Alicia carrying her message forward, helping people is giving back, redirection from Morgan. I like that. What does it look like to be a character who's been removed and has to come back? Like Troy. Some people grow and get better and they learn to take care of people. But some people going through this thing where they thought their kids were dead. And like that's why I like Crane coming back. Is like, dude, the knowledge that you would do anything for your kids was, first of all, how we got you to do anything, and was the very thing that got your kids killed. And though I was like, oh, no, he didn't, I was also like, dang, son, they really played this guy up. So anyway, so it's interesting to see that, oh, there are good qualities about seasons 4, 5, and 6. And 7, even.
I've always known that, not 7.
But not
4, 5, and 6, yes.
But in a narrative way, they're telling the fans, this is what happens when you miss out on all these things that these people learned along the way. That, yeah, you can be capable in the universe, but there's other things too. There's Tikkun. Okay, so I put this even in the description of this episode, that you can either focus on pragmatism. You can either focus on surviving the apocalypse and no, kill him first. Or you could try, like in Ner Tamid, Tikkun Olam, which is rebuilt, or not literally means rebuilding the world, fixing the world, but it means building a better world. And then see what happens when you could get killed, but all the stuff that you get back by putting into the universe, I'm not saying karma, I'm saying build a better world so that the world around you changes and then everybody's better off for it, including you. So that's those seasons. And Madison didn't have that. And so it's easy to see how she got bitter and grieved, and delayed grieving causes, like Daniel, causes a backslide, a huge backslide. So I don't know. Interesting.
I have a question for
Outnumbered.
Rachel. I have a question for Rachel. one of the things you wanted to see the most was how Madison got out of the stadium. How do you feel about their explanation?
Soup.
I'm dissatisfied.
I wanted to see the dam explosion. I want to see what happened after that. To be honest with
Yeah,
you.
that would have been a good conclusion too. I was very dissatisfied. He started out strong and he's like, when Shrike and I found you and we saved you, da da da. And I was like, oh, okay, all right. So they got her out of there. And then he was like, we found you in a water tank. And I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Wait a minute, what? Like he should have just stopped at, we found you and rescued you from this situation. Like, why? How did she magically blip into a water tank somewhere? Where? What?
You know what gave me a little solace, by the way, is knowing that they had to set up this whatever they were setting up, and they had to dunk Kim Dickens in the tank and take I don't know how many several tanks with her in water going. Like just trying to get out of the water, going.
It reminded me of Nacho in Better Call Saul.
Oh my God.
Me too.
Was that supposed to be like a small little callback to her in the oil tanks when she met June?
Maybe.
I mean, it could have been,
but it was like if that.
This wasn't as big.
Yeah, he could have stopped. They could have just stopped with, we found you, you needed help, we rescued you. I almost would have been fine with that.
You didn't know it was going to be that bad. So you would have, at that point, you would have been like, they said they were going to show me and they didn't show me.
Yeah.
They showed you, you just didn't like it because it didn't make any sense.
This is, by the way, this is
because it's physically impossible to survive in a boiling vat of water surrounded by fire.
Can we also talk about the fact that they're in Savannah and they heard her in Texas? Geography.
No, that's how they found. That's how Morgan was able to find, not find Padre, but find a route out of the fog. Was him hearing something on the radio about Padre? I forget how it was. Yeah, it was like near the shore, and then like, oh, Morgan's getting off the show. I was like, well, sorry. and then we like this. No, that's imitating Sherry being very excited about Morgan leaving the show. and you see him and Baby Mo sail away. I'm like, oh, yay! But it was like as a result of listening to radio chatter, right? All the way in Texas somehow, whatever repeater network, whatever it is. Walking Dead.
I don't think that's realistic.
They did mention a repeater network in the show. I will say that
because The Walking Dead had one as well.
They said they were setting one up though.
Somebody said we heard you on the repeater network.
I thought they were saying we're setting up a repeater network so we can stay in communication. That's what I thought it was.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh yeah, you probably should have done that like a long while ago. But anyway,
and then they turned Victor's Tower into a huge antenna to go further.
I've been rewatching seasons 4, 5, and 6 leading up to the finale, and I want to point out one really interesting continuity thing that I noticed in the second episode of season 4 when they're playing Mama Tried, which also was a nice callback to that in the finale.
Thank you, because
when they're showing people doing things in the stadium, like Nick's tying up the hoses and whatnot. Luciana is working on a generator. They had her doing mechanical stuff even right there. So later on, when she's doing the gas and stuff, that is not a far cry. I just like that they made that continuity. Luciana was doing mechanical stuff, and as they went on, that's what they had her doing.
It makes me want to rewatch.
We don't know much about her backstory, so that potentially that is her backstory. We don't know.
Mm-hmm. It makes me want to look into season 2 a little bit more too, because I kind of want to see all the maybe nuggets.
If she was doing that from the beginning.
I mean, she was obviously a warrior. She was helping, she's protecting the store. They were trying to get items from the gang, from the mafiosos, and she was part of La Colonia, right? She was trying to make sure people got in.
She was part of the colony, yeah.
Right. But she was making sure she was on the rooftop. She was making sure people got in and out safely and stuff. From the store. I don't know what to call it. I don't remember what it was called. But I wanted to know.
Yeah, I don't know. It was just the La Tienda, I guess.
Yeah.
It was the store.
No siento. Don't like.
Okay, I do have to go. Sharon D should go rest.
No, don't
Please go
go.
close your
Don't
eyes.
go. You guys
Please.
stay,
Look,
because
we
I'll be
can
an
be done. It's
emotional
okay,
wreck.
Dave. I know we're all
No,
sad. I know we're
we're
all sad,
just
but it's okay.
we're
Yeah.
just gonna have to do a part 2 coverage.
I don't like
We'll
it.
just come back and talk
No.
about it some
Okay,
more.
let's end the show because I don't like more editing. Do you guys
Um,
know? You don't care.
So before we go, I just want to say a big thank you to everybody,
Mhm.
cast, crew, right, even the writers. I'm sorry, I should have said that. Cast, crew,
Are you calling out
um,
Jacob Pinion and
fans. I mean, people who've joined us through the past few years, and everybody that we've met, everybody we've talked to. I just say thank you to all of you. Thank you for all of you to being part of this family and letting us be part of the family.
Thank you for saving the show, this podcast. Because if I wasn't so stubborn, you helped me. You helped it pay off. I could have been stubborn. This would have been a huge failure. I would have been talking to myself, hey, let's do an AMA. And it's just me. And
I think you would have done just fine.
no, here's the thing. If it wasn't for the fact that
You're wrong. For the
here's where
last
you're
time.
wrong. If it wasn't for me being absolutely stubborn and people acquiescing to that stubbornness, like Sharon D, like you, Rachel, and yes, a little you, Bridget, right on those coattails. No, but this is already when.
Excuse me, I'm the one who argues with you the most.
Well, see, that's what. No, Sharon D.
That's why he didn't want to mention me.
No,
I'm like, no, it's
listen.
me.
By the time
It's
we
me.
met, by the time we met you, Bridget, we'd already kind of. We're like, okay, we're in a
I know.
great place. Actually,
I'm
when Sharon D
the
came
new
on,
kid.
obviously Sharon D came on. We were in a definitely a more stable place, and we're like, you know what, we need more voices like this, like Sharon D, because this is a good counterweight and
that
more
was
hilarious
before
than
I
me.
was that was
Lighten
before I was salty about everything.
No, you know what's been the best part is like, yes, sometimes salty, yes, sometimes pooping on some things, but funnily, like I do sometimes. But the things that I like the most are when you guys change. Like when when Rachel is pooping on something and you're like, but no, I kind of like that. And Bridget's like, I like everything. And I'm going to say it in a funny voice. I'm Bridget. And I'll be like, am I going to be the one to poop on this now? What's happening? But like Carranza says, he says, love you guys. Happy Thanksgiving. What a perfect way to close this episode. Thank you. I am eternally grateful for you allowing you. It's you guys. It's we. That's why it starts off with we are Squawking Dead. You allow me, you allow us to do this. You keep me going. Because the me part is the editing and the social media and sharing these clips. But you guys allow me to do this thing. You guys give me the energy that I need. And Michael Satrazemis coming on in the beginning of this podcast. I don't need validation, but it's nice to have.
You should make it clear that was a surprise for everybody, because you
He
guys.
wasn't
Yeah.
aware.
None
You
of us
guys did
knew
not
except
know.
Sharon D.
Yeah, it's all Sharon D's fault. That's every episode should end with it's all Sharon D's fault, but it's a good thing. It's a good
All
thing.
I did was say that I might have a special guest coming on, and they had no idea who it was.
None whatsoever.
Until they actually showed up on the
No.
screen.
Yeah, but
I'm sure y'all 100% thought it was Jenna the first, right?
I did.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But
But
when you
then
said
you
it
said
wasn't,
it's not who you think it is, so then
it just wrecked our whole.
was.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's why I was like, is it going to be a real surprise, or is it just going to be a surprise?
Is it gonna be Thomas because it's his birthday? Anyway,
Then I thought
Thomas
maybe
gets really
Mo.
bitter.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought maybe Mo.
I did ask Mo, but they had the problem with doing this tonight is the night
That would
before
have been
Thanksgiving,
fraught.
and everybody is busy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Everybody's busy. So
Hosting
Yeah.
family and
Yeah.
whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
everybody I talked to responded, and they were all like, "Yes, I'm just too busy." And I'm like, I get that. No.
Which is to
Um,
say, by the way, thank you guys for being here on this stream. You know, because we can say, oh, cast, you know, they may or may not show up, and well, we have to confirm. You guys make it here. You guys help again. You guys help us do what we need to do, and I don't know how I don't thank you guys after every episode. So with that, everybody, thank you. And if you like what you heard, you can thank us even further by rating us at ratethispodcast.com/squawking dead. 5 stars and an eggplant is all we need to know that you love us. But tell us what you liked. Tell us what you didn't like. But remember, well, tell us what we might have missed. We missed a lot of things, 2 episodes. Okay, we can't do everything. But remember to tell us after every episode. And if you really enjoyed what we're doing here today, you can tip us right now or later. But now your tip and message will show on the screen forever. You can tip us at ko-fi.com/squawkingdead or join a membership tier on either patreon.com/slow. Okay, do it over again. Or you can join a membership tier on either patreon.com/squawkingdead or ko-fi.com/squawkingdead. When you join a membership tier for as little as $1 a month, you can get Discord access. You will get some of our baseline perks like Dave's Notes, which is called Pre-Squawk Insights, and you can get them if you tip as well. You don't have to be joining a membership tier, but I'd appreciate it. It's cheaper too. And a whole load of baseline perks like the unedited episode recordings when we do pre-record, which I prefer because then the episodes come out nice and tight and very nice and crisp.
He cuts out all our funny stuff. When
He
that happens, so
does.
Not
just,
anymore.
Don't do
He
that,
does.
though.
Not anymore.
No,
Not
ever
anymore.
since Blue Cat 22 or whatever.
It was more like an
was
FU.
explained.
After that, it was like, you know what? More laughter.
You know what? I'm leaving all the laughter.
Leave it
in there.
all. And even no context laughter. It's kind of like Bridget's crying in the reaction video, like no context. Just insert moments of her crying in the reaction to this episode.
It truly is just me, though, so it makes sense.
Yeah. But also insert crying as a result of me just speaking. Anyway. So when you join the mid-tier or upper tier, which is called the Whispers or Survivors tiers, you get shout-outs at the end of every episode. Starting with the Survivors tier, we got at RealRyanGM on X, formerly Twitter, at ElizaJones71 on Instagram, or at JonesAJ6 on Twitter, as well as Linda Peg Athens, who you can reach at ko-fi.com/fanartlindy. On to our Whispers tier members. We've got, let's just say it out loud, at Judith.Morton on Instagram, Aiden Atkin, who you can reach at ko-fi.com/AidenAtkin, at Tyler Phillip Cox on both Instagram and Twitter. Well, I mean X. And the following 3 Facebook members: at Kim Rowley 1, at Lois.Martin.54, and at Sandy.D.Morrison on Facebook. And let's not forget Mitchell, who was on here earlier, who you could find at I Found Them Rick G on X, formerly Twitter. Thank you so much for being here, guys. It's really hard to say
We love
goodbye.
you. Happy
you.
Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
And thank you for
Happy Turkey Day.
and thank you for giving us so much.
I'm thankful for you.
Yeah,
I'm
Yes.
I
thankful
am
for
thankful
you.
I'm
I
thankful
am
for
so
you
thankful for
weirdos.
everybody.
Yeah.
Now, Bridget, sing a song
Well,
to take
almost
us
everybody.
Okay. Who's that wonderful girl? Could she be any cuter?
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. That was perfect.
You know what we forgot to talk about?
A lot. Everything.
Alicia's whack hand.
Oh my god.
She had
mean the
what
man
Jerry
hand?
Seinfeld refers to as man hands.
She had bad
Mhm.
hands.
Good night, everybody.
She can just bitch slap the walkers.
Could
she had this
be?
hand.
For
Could
real.
her hands
Okay,
be any
imagine this hand without-
larger?
Imagine this hand without hair.